guilty of crime.
Happy Monday, everybody. What's up? I'm your host, Jay, with Guilty of Crime, and we're back. Guys, happy Monday. Happy Monday. Members only chat. It's members only Monday, and today we're doing it with the chat. So come on in, guys. I still need for y'all to hit that like button. If you're watching the video, but you can't comment on it, please still hit the like button. Get a subscription and come on in and talk to us. I may open the chat up later, but while I'm covering, Bryan Kohberger granted a new lawyer, not death penalty qualified, and 1 star. Guys, the evidence that you won't see in court ever. Guys, you guys know the deal. I'm going to talk about all the things that happen. We're going to get into the legal jargon of this, but we're also going to talk about the evidence you're never going to see because it's all just a conspiracy theory, guys. All right. So as we know, Bryan Kohberger pled guilty. I've got all the pieces of paper to document signed. We see him. The judge says, "Are you guilty? Did you do this?" Again and again and again. Yes. I'll show you this. But what he's claiming now, guys, because he cannot, Bryan Kohberger, like Stephen Stearns, took a plea deal, which took the death penalty off the table. So Kohberger studied, he studied to be I don't know if it was criminology or what his deal was, lawyer, whatever he thought he was going to be. Well, he's pursuing his PhD in jail or in his prison cell right now. And, the bottom line is he doesn't want to be in jail, prison, or the death penalty. Okay. So he's having regrets, and he posted the post-conviction filings. You can't do a plea. You can't have another trial based on a plea. So what he did instead was he's claiming that he had ineffective assistance in this case. And again, we'll break it down, but he's saying that one thing that he says, and we got to go over this. We have to go over this message. We have to go over his handwritten note. And the reason I say that is because, this is what you get in the community of Idaho 4. You get a lot of conspiracy theorists, and that's why I want members only chat right now, because I don't want pro-burgers coming in and spreading things that just simply aren't there. All right. So what we're going to do is talk about the actual conviction, what's happening now in the case of Bryan Kohberger. He did get a new lawyer, which means we can in turn move forward. He's a shitty lawyer, but nonetheless. But I got to tell you guys, even his own expert is saying, I believe Bryan Kohberger did it. Okay. I believe he did it, and there's no other person that could have done that. His own expert says that, guys. Now, there is a lot of evidence that links Bryan Kohberger to this case and to the murders. However, there's a lot that we weren't able to see due to the plea deal. But the reason he took the plea deal, guys, is because he didn't want the death penalty. So now he's claiming ineffective assistance. Guys, this is bad. Although the Kaylee's parents, the Goncalves, sometimes I can't say that, even though they wanted to see a trial, they're saying, okay, If he gets a new trial, let's do the new trial. Let's get him with the death penalty, and we'll make it worse this time, because it's not overturning his conviction. It's not. It's just starting all over, and that sucks. And I will not victim blame either. Now, I did a lot of freaking research today because I only covered this up until a certain point. And when he pled guilty on my birthday, I was like, yes, go away, fucker. I don't have to ever see all the gory stuff, all the pictures and the gore, which I had to run across today. All right, guys. So what's up, everybody? If you don't know what's going on here, it's members only Monday chat. I may open it up later if other people are watching and they want to comment, but right now it's members only. You can see it, but you cannot comment. Hey, Deb, Amethyst, Under Your Scars, Kara, good to see you guys. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to hear right now. I mean, the research that I did today, guys, I'm literally giving you the evidence that convicted him, and then I'm giving you 10. I can't even believe there's that many theories. 10 different theories that are just absurd. And when you go on and you do the research, people are adamant that it was his accomplice or it was this. Guys, those conspiracies got thrown out of court. That's why they were never in the first place. The judge didn't accept them. Hey, twin mommy, you only members can comment, right? All right. Wyatt says he was a doctorate student in criminology. He can't. Exactly. I'm going to double down on that even further to show you that he can't get away from that the plea deal. But the problem is he pled guilty. After he pled guilty, a ton of evidence came out that we didn't know we were going to get. Things that were sealed came out. And now his own expert is saying this guy's creepy AF. And I believe that he did it. All right. Coming from Fox News, there's an article and it shows Bryan Kohberger's one of his main the Ray, a digital forensic specialist that was hired by Kohberger, says he's 100% confident that Kohberger committed the killings, and he believes the geolocation data reveals stalking and that he was in the house prior to. So guys, I don't know how this monster thinks that he's going to get anything other than the death penalty. It broke my heart to see these kids, I want to make sure I properly talk about them. So Bryan Kohberger, a criminology PhD student, was charged last year in July for murdering the 4 students. Now, on November 13th, 2022, guys, not even 2 weeks from Thanksgiving in 2022, a brutal stabbing that obviously shocked Moscow and the entire Idaho community. I don't think they were equipped for this kind of case. Now, the victims in this case, and I will not victim blame to any of the witnesses that are there. I'm not going to entertain nonsense. All right. You guys can talk about it if you think that I'm wrong or you have a different, if you have a different opinion. We're here to talk and respectfully. All right. We're going to talk respectfully and we're good. No insults. That's why I like having members only chat right now. All right. Hey, good to see you, Indy. So look, guys, it went a step further because the judge already assigned him with a lawyer. First, he came in with that BS, letter, which I got to show you, but I can't. Where is it? All right, let me do this real quick. I'm going to go to his plea deal. All right. And I'm going to show you him literally pleading after signing this. Guys, look at this. And we'll go over this after. Questions regarding ability to enter a plea. Bryan Kohberger. Yes. Do you need an interpreter? No. Everything else. Are you currently under care of a mental professional? A mental health? No. Have you ever been diagnosed? He's ADHD, autism, OCD, right? He's trying to explain away those gloves that he was wearing so openly at the house at 2 a.m, right? He even implicates his family as pushing him to take the plea deal. This guy is just, I hope they just throw him back in there and say, dude, you're not getting any of this. So look, I mean, it's his handwriting. He checked it off. He wrote it. He did the whole deal. There it is. Like, it's all there. His signature, his appellate rights say no. Do you have appellate rights? No. You know why? Because he's already a convicted murderer. All right. He's got 4 convictions with the big capital M. And then he's also got one burglary charge, and 4 homicides. Okay. This is crazy. He was charged with 4 counts of first degree and burglary December 30th, 2022. Now, he maintained his innocence in July of 2025, but then he accepted a plea deal to avoid the death penalty. Now, when he did that, he told the judge and everybody else, the whole world, I did it. And we're going to watch that. And then I'll pull up his letter that it's gained a little traction, and especially for the pro-burgers that say he's innocent. All right, let's look. I've got 10 common theories, and I've got a shit ton of evidence that if he goes back to a trial, will convict him, and he'll probably get the death penalty this time. Let's go. Let's listen. Hold on, guys. 1 second. 1 second. I'll bring it up. All right, let's pull this down. And let me move this. Remove. All right, hold on. Come on, straight. It's hot, guys. How you doing today? Hello, everybody. Good to see you. And we are gonna have we only have 60 people in chat, but that's because it's a members only. So don't forget to hit the like button. I still am gonna gift a membership. That way, if people are watching, they can come on in. All right, guys. Good to see everybody. Sadie's mama, I saw you here first. Wyatt, Kel, thank you for being here. Foxy, good to see you. Mama Pearl is here. I see you. It's hot as hell, guys. And I tried to get a haircut, and I couldn't get a haircut with anybody today. So I'm dying of heat. Not really. I'm just a big baby. But Mo, good to see you. All my members only. Mo, good to see you. Twin Mommy, Melissa, Kara. All right, guys. Let's listen here, and then I'm gonna run you through everything that you either didn't know or that you need to know, in my opinion. Now, I spent a lot of time on this episode today, and hopefully I bring it with the correct information, and it gives you a good idea of what's going to happen next in this case. All right. Shadow Lion. Guys, it's Leo season, August 3rd, 2026. Whose birthday is it? Come on in. Almost conservative as it. Yeah, they brought back the death penalty, the firing squad, and that's what got him to say, "Oh, I'm pleading." Yeah, it's not that. It was 106 in my car. I had to cool it down before I drove anywhere. We're pretty common sense, right? There, you kill 4 people and get life. Here, the burglary charges an answer. You go bye-bye. All right, well, that's not what he thinks is going to happen, but let's listen to this as it unfolds. Let's take ourselves back to 2025 in July, where everybody was ready for this to start as a trial, and he pled guilty. Listen up.
That on or about November 13, 2022 in Latah County, Idaho, you unlawfully entered a residence located at 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho, with the intent to commit the felony crime of murder. As to count 2, the state would have had to have proven that on or about that same date in Latah County, Idaho, you did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation and malice aforethought, kill and murder Madison Mogen, a human being, by stabbing Madison Mogen, from which she died. As to count 3, the state would have had to have proven that on that same date in Latah County, at that same address, you did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation and malice aforethought, kill and murder Kaylee Goncalves, a human being, by stabbing her, from which she died. As to count 4, the state would have had to have proven that on or about that same date in Latah County, Idaho, you did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation and malice aforethought, kill and murder Xana Kernodle, a human being, by stabbing her, from which she died. And then as to count 5, also murder in the first degree, that on or about November 13th, 2022, in Latah County, Idaho, you did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation and malice aforethought, kill and murder Ethan Chapin, a human being, by stabbing him, from which he died. Do you understand those things the state would have had to have proven?
Yes.
And you understand that by pleading guilty, the state no longer has to prove those things because you're admitting those things are true.
Yes.
Yep. Yes. And yes. Hold on. There's a lot in this episode. There's a lot in this case, guys. So many
I
exaggerations.
want to also make for the record, the defendant has provided with the guilty plea advisory form a document entitled Written Factual Basis that purports to have the defendant's signature dated 1 July 2025. Did you sign that document?
Yes.
And did you agree with the written factual basis that is included there?
Yes.
And then let me ask you, did you, on November 13th, 2022, enter the residence at 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho, with the intent to commit the felony crime of murder?
Yes.
Did you, on November 13th, 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, kill and murder Madison Mogen, a human being?
Yes.
And did you do that willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, and with premeditation?
Does anyone not believe him? I mean, what's the deal here, guys? I mean, these children, when I heard about, and again, they're in their 20s, right? 22, they're going to go off and already got their career. She drove down from Texas, Kaylee, and guys, does anyone not believe him? I'm just curious. I mean, I want to have a conversation about this, guys. And we have 65 people in members only chat. Hit the like button. Good to see you, Midnight. Perfect Pam. Let's finish this so I can get that letter. Tiff, are you here? I don't know why I can't find that handwritten letter. It's really small.
And malice aforethought.
Yes.
Did you honor about that same date in Moscow, Idaho, kill and murder Kaylee Goncalves, a human being?
Yes.
And did you do that willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, and with premeditation and malice aforethought?
Yes.
Yes.
And did you, on that same date in Moscow, Idaho, kill and murder Xana Kernodle, a human being?
Yes.
And did you do that willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation and malice aforethought?
Yes.
He's very confident
And
about
then
it.
on
Yes,
or about November 13th, 2022, again in Latah County, Idaho, did you kill and murder Ethan Chapin, a human being?
Yes.
Did you do that willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation and malice aforethought?
Yes.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download.
so loud. Be quiet. Okay. We just had to hear it. Okay. BK did it 1,000%. He's not getting out, but there's so many people covering this that are saying that this was a failure. All right. But I'm going to tell you the evidence and then I'm going to tell you the conspiracies because in my opinion, it's all just a bunch of BS. All right. All right. Let me show you this real quick. So this is this was the Bryan Kohberger, his consecutive life sentences. This was in response to his legal or to him granting new legal representation, right? There has to be legal representation. And especially if Kohberger is saying that his counsel was ineffective, he's got to throw them under the bus now and give specifics about how they lied, et cetera, et cetera. All right. So take a look at this. This was just granted July 29th, state of Idaho, Bryan Kohberger appointing counsel. Okay, then when you go to the appointed counsel, it should be somewhere right here. There's a lot of things that I can go over today. Oh my goodness. There's a ton of factual evidence there. Okay, let's just take a look at this and then we'll continue. We're going to break all this down. In my opinion, he's guilty AF, but why are there people that are saying that he didn't do it or that he had an accomplice? Does anybody in this chat even believe that? Or am I preaching to the wrong people? Let's take a look at his handwritten letter real quick. I can't read that far away, so let me okay, so look guys, this is handwriting. So first of all, in my opinion, this is a joke. Yeah, I got it, Tiff. Thank you. I found it. This is a joke in my opinion, and many legal analysts say that as well. It's handwritten by this OCD, ADHD, he didn't do it, innocent, freaky guy. All right. It's hereby declared that during an attorney-client discussion, most of when included all members of Bryan Kohberger's immediate family. There's a whole article on this where he's blaming his family, by the way, for pushing him to take the plea deal. Now, I hate to say this, and I know you're here, Deb, but you know what? Stefan said the exact same thing as Kohberger saying, but let me tell you a little bit different than what Stefan did. When Stefan pled to not get the death penalty, he was smart because he pled no contest to the murder. Okay, and I'm going to say that because I know Deb and Chris probably had a profound impact on what Stefan Stearns pled to, not to drag them through the freaking mud. Okay, so but when I do talk to him, he says I shouldn't have taken that deal, blah 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 blah. And I say, hey, well, you took the deal. Let's get Jen Soto then. If you took the deal and you didn't do it alone, let's go after Jen Soto. So I don't know what he's working on behind the scenes or not. That's pretty much the only talking point I have with Stefan Stearns. He messaged me about 3 weeks ago. I messaged him back. There's a long delay, but my whole point is Kohberger also waited until the appeal couldn't be used anymore. It's not even an appeal. Legal analysts are saying this is a joke and it's stirring up the family and the victims and the conspiracy theory people that are blaming the roommates and victim shaming. So let me finish this so I can move on. Okay, so listen, he says he falsely confessed. Kohberger's immediate family petitioner was convinced to falsely confess to the capital murder. Again, he pled guilty. Stefan Stearns pled no contest. There's a difference between no contest and guilty. No contest can open you back up for possibly this type of post-conviction petition. I don't know how it is in Florida. All right. So he falsely confessed to capital murder and felony burglary by coercion, disinformation, false promises, and the withholding of exculpatory discovery. Sorry, I know how to say exculpatory. The following is material. It's hard to read. To the inception of the plea. Counselor's failure to inform petitioner. I don't even know what he doesn't even do half of this right. It's got a 7 there. He's got a bunch of errors. Petition of exculpatory discovery received during plea discussions. Namely, guys, and this is the big thing, namely clumps of unknown hair follicles in Ethan Chapin's hand. Okay, this is a complete, this is a complete and utter failure of what actually happened. So what Bryan's probably doing is listening to the pro-burgers and listening to the people that saying he's innocent and then handwriting this bullshit. All right, so he's saying there's a clump in Ethan's hand. But you know what I found when I looked for a clump? It was one hair in Ethan's hand, and it was his hair. And he was, if you see the murder, the images from the house, these kids were slaughtered, guys. They were slaughtered clearly, in my opinion, by one person. Otherwise, you would have multiple sites at the same time, 2 people killing at the same time. It didn't happen. But the clump of hair was implying Ethan grabbed or ripped out during an attack, somebody's. And we don't know who that somebody is. But guess what? In the forensic evidence, it doesn't show a clump of hair. It's one single hair associated with Ethan. It wasn't described as a clump or a handful, although they are using that bloody video, those pictures of hair, different hairs to show it was a clump. But that's not the evidence. It was not found in his hand, by the way, and it was one hair. So right off the bat, he's already exaggerating. All right. So he says petitioner was convinced that actual guilt was important that way. Death row was imminent and advised to lie. He said, and they told him to lie. Petitioner was to legal victory in entering a false plea, a gross misrepresentation, and what the hell does that say? It's hard to promises regarding what the life sentence would be immediate after. Guys, bottom line, he doesn't like jail or prison. He doesn't want any of that. He's by himself 23 hours a day still. All right. Misrepresentation of death row, including elaborate fabricated stories of horrific experience. So let's send him to death row, okay? An actual 8x8. So he got scared. What he's saying is the death penalty scared me, and so I pled guilty. But now he says, what does it say? You sell all communicated to the petitioner and his family by IDOC through counsels and consulting, threats and promises made. Guys, all right, 7/22/2026. This happened 3 days before a year. And it's too late. It's too late for that, my friends. All right. But we'll see what happens, because the judge did give him he assigned him a lawyer. And I'm glad to see that the lawyer is trash, in my opinion. I also did research on that lawyer, and people are clowning him, and rightfully so. He's not a death penalty. He's definitely not death penalty qualified for this case. But then at the same time, he's got 1 star. All right. And here's some more stuff, documents from Kohberger's trial. All right. Yes, he was not forced or coerced. Nothing says that. It's just pure. Has your attorney or anyone forced you? No. Has your other promises been made to your influence? No. Right? Do you understand that it includes your attorney? Yes. Are you satisfied with your attorney's representation? Yes. Well, guess what, guys? He's not. So notice of assignment. He got Rosh. All right. The guy's name is something Rosh. Where did that go? I'll find it in a minute. I don't know why this is. Hold on. Let me pull back. I got a lot to. Oh, here he is. So look at somebody put together this Gregory Rosh, and he's literally got 1 star. Agreed. I believe he enjoyed every second of that, guys. All right, so there's the lawyer. Again, he's not death penalty qualified, and they're going for the death penalty. If he happens to get an appeal on this, they're going for the death penalty. This guy is Gregory Rosh. He can't use the same lawyers because he said they were ineffective. This guy practices in bankruptcy, debtors' rights, criminals thrown in there. But if you look, don't use this guy. He's got 1 star, 1 star. I mean, and he's charging $125 an hour. All right. But allegedly he's garbage. And then look at this. This is what I wanted to show you. Bryan Kohberger's own defense expert is calling for the death penalty. This is yesterday, August 2nd. And they claim that the cell phone data shows the Idaho killer was inside the victim's home before the murders. Guys, Cy Ray, a digital forensic specialist hired by Kohberger's defense team, told a podcast that he's 100% confident that Kohberger committed the killings and believes geolocation data reveals stalking evidence that investigators missed entirely. He claims that AT&T derived a latitude and longitude coordinates placed by Kohberger's Samsung phone inside the King Road house on multiple occasions before the November 2022 massacre. But here's the problem. Ray's own expert report filed in January 2025 states that the geolocation data does not provide any evidence of association between Mr. Kohberger and its decedents. The contradiction has raised red flags among the forensic experts in this case. And guys, they're running with it. Everybody's running with this, all right? They're like, hey, he's going to get out. He's going to get out. He's innocent, all right? People are so happy to do that. And that's why, even though I didn't cover this case, I only covered it one time, and but I've been following it. I just can't sit quiet and listen to people saying this stuff that's not true. All right, let's listen.
He didn't file a petition to withdraw his right to appeal. He filed a petition to withdraw his plea. He's trying to undo the plea. That's the one point I didn't make. If he were to win on this, all we would be is right back at where we were before he took the plea, meaning we'd be heading to trial. And to Wally's question as well, which means the death penalty would most certainly be back on the table. This isn't a Alec Murdaugh situation where on the second time around, there's an argument as to whether or not they should be allowed to pursue the death penalty. Here, the only reason that the death penalty was taken off of the table
is because
was as a accommodation for the plea to be taken. So you don't want to plea anymore? You want
So here's the problem with this as well. For those of you that think pro Kohberger is going to get out, guys, he's going to go through another trial, and the family, I don't care what y'all say. Oh, the family wanted to see it. They're going to get what they want now. Guys, they don't want to see this. I assure you. I don't want to see this. I assure you. The little bit that I saw today with the blood and I saw other ones when they came out. Nobody needs to see that. Wow, Sadie's mama, a member for 28 months. That's almost a year and a half or 2 years and a half. Whoa, thank you. Choo choo. Yes, I definitely do. I am tired today and I didn't get my hair cut, so I'm hot. But I still got passion for this case because I don't like these things being spread online when it's just not true. I can't stand that. It bothers me. Hey, Teresa, how you doing? Good to see you. I don't even like hearing people stick up for this guy. He completely annihilated these kids.
to withdraw your plea and a judge grants that, well, then game on as far as everything goes.
Game on.
And that includes the death penalty.
Amen.
I don't think it's going to end up that way, but if it does end up that way, he's going to be looking at a trial with 4 counts of first-degree murder and the death penalty squarely on the table. He didn't file a petition to withdraw his right to appeal. He filed a petition to withdraw his plea.
Yep.
He's trying to undo the plea. That's the one point I didn't make. If he were to win on this.
Hold on. Let me see. Okay. Sorry. I was trying to find stuff for you. No, Kohberger's a loser. He didn't have help from anyone. Now, I want to show you that today. So if anybody that is watching and not chatting with me and you guys are on the outside, you guys can still drop a comment, I believe, after the episode's over, or let me know. Let me know if you guys need to talk so badly when I'm done here going through the information that I have to read and present. Okay, because I simply don't want trolls coming in messing up this episode. It's definitely near and dear to me with these kids. Right? When I saw this, I was like, in my entire life that I always wanted my children to go to college and do. I never thought that a nightmare like this would happen to where you would rethink, wait a minute, maybe I shouldn't send my kid to college or kids to college because I'd rather them be safe than to be stalked and then brutally murdered and then friends to be blamed, family to be blamed, people to blame, except for the actual killer. I just don't know. I don't understand how this is. I don't understand, people. There's nothing about this that says anything other than what he pled guilty to. All right. So Kohberger petitions to withdraw guilty plea. And he said he's innocent. There's also a New York Times post that reported on his July 26, 2025 message to them through JPay.
The man convicted a year ago of murdering 4 University of Idaho students wants to take back his guilty plea and go to trial. That's according to court documents we obtained this afternoon.
Bryan Kohberger is serving 4 consecutive life sentences with no possibility of parole.
Kathleen.
But he now claims he's innocent and was misled into confessing to those murders. KTVB's John Webb has been following this all day long. John, what can you tell us?
Justin Morgan, Kohberger claims his legal counsel, quote, threatened him into entering a guilty plea. In his own words, Kohberger writes he was, quote, convinced to falsely confess to capital murder and felony burglary by coercion, disinformation, false promises, and the withholding of exculpatory discovery. Kohberger lists several examples. Number 1, Kohberger claims his public attorneys didn't inform him about alleged clumps of...
God, I love this for him. Because when I did a search for that, there were so many things that could combat this. It wasn't a clump of hair. It wasn't in his hand. It was a single hair, and it wasn't associated with anything anywhere that would be somebody else's. So he's just throwing in stuff that he's probably hearing from the media, from his family. It's a major exaggeration. It went from one hair to a clump, trying to make let's say the jurors or whoever's looking at this feel like maybe we have the wrong person. Why does it matter? Well, because they're saying that in the investigation, there was things that were hid, misrepresented, not brought in, not actually forensic, not even DNA, All right. So this is just that they're completely combating this. And to me, it's complete and utter bullshit. All right. When I look at this, I'm like, how did they even get this far with that? I cannot fathom this. Let's continue.
Unknown hair in Ethan Chapin's hands. Number 2, Kohberger says his attorneys advised him to lie to get a quote legal victory in entering a guilty plea. Number 3, he claims his attorneys gave him a quote gross misrepresentation and promises of what a life sentence would mean. He says his attorneys also gave him a fabricated story about how small a death row cell is. For all those reasons, Kohberger.
Now, guess what? Everybody's told that. Deb, where are you, Deb? Did you tell Stefan you don't want to get the death penalty, son? See what's happening with it. Now, listen, Stefan didn't plead guilty. He pled no contest. So if he wanted to find a loophole and start throwing Jen Soto under the bus with real tangible evidence, it's possible. But this guy, no, and no. That's just not, it's not true. The fact that he's blaming his family, there's an article that is called Bryan Kohberger blames his family for the plea. And then he blames his attorneys. All right. Yeah. Let's see if he can pull a Sarah Boone. Thank you, Midnight Lace. You guys, if you received the membership, please thank Midnight Lace and come on in and say hello. I will gift one in a little bit when I'm done talking y'all's ears off. All right.
Claims his attorneys induced him into making a plea agreement. I called his former attorney, Ann Taylor, today, but her office said they were not commenting. But this afternoon, we're hearing from the Latah County Prosecutor's Office. They said in a statement, quote, "We are saddened by the recent news that the admitted murderer of Madison Mogen, Kaylee Goncalves, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle continues his efforts to victimize their families and friends. Our office is prepared to defend the well-deserved convictions and sentences and ensure justice prevails." The Goncalves family also sent us this statement. It reads in part, quote, "The mosquito you just can't seem to swat. This is what Kohberger and his following have become."
Guys, they don't want to have to do this again. Yes, they're giving interviews and they're saying bring it on, but you know what they're going to have to do? They're going to have to pack up and move there. I literally just listened to one of the family members say, I'm all for it. This time it's the death penalty on the table, but we can't go back and forth to a trial like that. We can't go every day, and we will go every day. So we'll have to pack up and we'll have to move. Okay. This is when people say the family wants this. No, they don't. Nobody wants this. Maybe it would be better if he was one of the inmates accidentally got him beforehand. Just saying.
This family, regardless of how this turns out, our family is 100% ready. An actual trial this time? Let's go. We are confident he will get the death penalty that he escaped by pleading guilty the first time around. We're also hearing from Attorney General Raul Labrador, who said, quote, "My office stands ready to do whatever is necessary to ensure justice is fully carried out." And Morgan, you talked to a legal attorney to give us a little bit more insight into what happens next.
Yeah, exactly, John. When Kohberger pleaded guilty, he testified under oath that he was voluntarily and knowingly doing so. He also agreed not to appeal his case. So how was he able to file these post-conviction petitions now? We took that question to local trial attorney Kurt Holzer.
And don't think we're not going to talk about this more. That happens, though. That's the problem, guys, is we say, okay, you're going to take this deal and you're not going to be able to plea, but then you find a loophole. That seems like a lot of what the justice system is based on, is loopholes and little information, cross the T and dot the I's. Oh, shit, you forgot to cross the T. We're going to get a new trial. Yes. Absolutely. I'm going to show you about not only the family, but think about all of the friends that were there that morning that people are blaming that they did this, or Jack did this, or guys, that was part of the investigation. If she thought Jack was the person that she first saw, well, they were partying. We know they were out drinking all night. We know they were partying. We saw them at the taco trucks. I just can't understand this.
So he's asked the judge, hey, I want to pull it back and go forward with my trial. Judge isn't going to grant that motion. Here's the underlying game he's playing. He wants to, because he waived his right to appeal when he pled guilty. So what he wants to do now is then appeal this denial, so he gets that in front of our Supreme Court. So he keeps it going. It's a cruel game he's playing, if in my opinion, in my view, that keeps it alive, that gives him something to do.
Prosecutors have 30 days to respond to Kohberger's petition, and then Holzer says there will likely be a hearing where Judge Hibbler will hear initial arguments from both sides. And
all right, so guys, we just kind of started this episode, so if you are confused, Kohberger gave a handwritten letter to, and we showed that earlier, he gave a handwritten letter stating why he needs a new trial. Okay, so that's where we are. He put that in for assistance in order to give him a new trial. Judge has now assigned him an attorney to continue with the filings. Okay, so no, he hasn't gotten anything yet, and that's what we're hoping doesn't happen. All right, we don't want him to get out ever, number one, and number two, we don't want to re-victimize the family like that. Who knows, maybe the two girls associated with what they saw or on the thought they saw to them drinking on. Well, that's the thing, though. I don't even know how to combat that right now, because drinking all night and talk and leading law enforcement directly to him, the eyebrows and the stature that they claim to have seen was Bryan Kohberger, and the DNA, the touch DNA from the sheath, the snap on their sheath went to Bryan Kohberger. You think that's a coincidence? Probably not. All right, let's take a look here real quick. You can see a little note down there. So this is Bryan Kohberger, and this was a year after. He says a year later, this went to New York Times. Okay, a year later, it's self-evident that State versus Kohberger justice was not served. Unanswered questions seem to multiply with each piece of discovery unsealed, and the public demands a truth. Why are you talking? See, I know what he's talking about when he says the public demands a truth. He sees what's happening. He sees that we got pro-burgers and we're fighting with each other to say, hey, he didn't do it. Hey, Millie, good to see you. You made it. All right. So look, public demands a truth. Unfortunately, the truth shall never be derived from the state's myopic narrative. He's the smartest guy in the room, ain't he? A work of fiction which has yet to evolve since the PCA was released nearly 4 years ago. And its faulty premises were never challenged at trial, circumnavigated by a broken plea. The trial never provided the public the clarity. He knew that. You knew that. Clarity conducive to closure, and justice shall remain objectively miscarried unless that plea is withdrawn. I hereby declare my intention to enter a not guilty plea and welcome the state the opportunity to prove their case at trial. All right. For the death penalty. He's even saying that. It's like, is he just bored and he wants out of his cell? All right. So there it goes. Death penalty down there. He talks about welcome to the state. Oh, wait. Closure. He's saying you guys need closure. All right. I think he's totally going off the public. To prove their case at trial, my actual innocence is my truth, and the plea hinged on false promises and blatant disinformation must be withdrawn. Thank you for all who believe in the innocence and continue to critically analyze the case. I send my love to my family, who have never wavered in their belief in who I am, their belief in my innocence. Oh, yeah, because I'm pretty sure your sister was over there telling them how you were acting creepy, walking around the house, trying to cover up your freaking DNA, trying to have anything. This guy is out of his mind. And then you got this questionability, questions that he filled out. He hand signed and filled it out, just like he did with the new order to get a plea, to get a not guilty plea, excuse me. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything on this. Hold on. During the plea agreement, he responded yes to the 4th district judge. All right. Let me finish this. Hold on. Before sentencing, the conditions of the plea agreement bound Kohberger to refrain from filing an appeal in this case meaning he can't contest his 4 consecutive life sentences in court, but he's found a way to. All right. In a handwritten court filing, Kohberger claims he's innocent and was misled. All right. Let me show you this real quick. I'm not going to do the whole one of this. Hold on. Let me add this up. All right. How you guys doing over there? How's everybody doing? All right. Let me go back. Okay. So in a handwritten court filing, we saw what happened. He calls clumps of hair unknown. We look back and it says 1 hair not in his hand. All right. So the filing post-conviction to create an avenue towards appealing the decision on a Supreme Court level. He said that the judge will most likely deny the motion, which led to another appeals process. Ultimately, this is a self-aggrandizing and cruel, Holzer said. That's what I think Kohberger is engaged in here. And people are saying he's such a monster that they think that he's doing that to torture the family any last way that he can. And he's bored, so he just wants to get out. Okay, so here is the plea, Bryan Kohberger's plea deal, official document from July 2nd, 2025. All right, in the district court, 4th Judicial District, State of Ohio versus Bryan Kohberger. And there's his plea agreement. Again, how many times do we have to show that he's guilty? The defendant sentenced to 2 years for count 1. He'll enter guilty pleas on the following: burglary, and then 4 counts of the big capital M. All right. The state may seek restitution. And when I read this about it may be seeking restitution, they're also, the experts are saying maybe he doesn't like what the restitution amount is. And so he wants to he has nothing else to do but to try. All right. Defendant undersigned the nature of the charge. All right. Defendant undersigned, if we were to proceed to trial, he would have a right to appeal. But because he's not, including but not limited, any issues decided by the court prior to the evidence, and then they go into, I don't need to read everything with you, but there it is. Signed, sealed, and delivered. And they're gone. And now information starts coming out. What comes out almost a year later? Well, what comes out months later and then almost a year later? Let me show you myself. Body cam footage shows the surviving roommates and some other details that gives you an idea of what happened here.
They're so scared. Newly released body cam video reveals what the surviving roommates in the Idaho college murders first told police. Netflix's docuseries, The Idaho Murders College Nightmare, released July 29th, provides new insight into what the sole survivors of one.
Now, here's a problem with this damn documentary as well. They left out a bunch of things in the documentary that would prove the evidence to people, so they're not like pro burger, but they left it out. Why does that matter? It shouldn't, but public perception does matter, guys. I'm going to gift a membership right now. So if you're watching, but you're not in chat, make sure that you hit the like button for us. All right. That way you can get a membership.
One of the country's most chilling cases said in the aftermath of the stabbings of their roommates, Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, and Xana Kernodle, as well as Kernodle's boyfriend, Ethan Chapin. In the doc, Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk give statements to police outside the home they shared with the victims on November 13th, 2022, with Funk giving a timeline of the night before and Mortensen describing an intruder in the home.
Not even came at 2 months ago.
You know how long they were there? Probably till closing at least?
Yeah.
Now, it really does break my heart when I'm just watching YouTube and I'm doing research and, covering these cases, and I keep seeing so many victim blaming posts and conspiracies about these girls. Now, Amethyst says, I felt bad for the kids finding out that it was a homicide based on the text. Right. But this is all intriguing. All the documentaries can never cover everything. Yeah, but they left out really bad key pieces. And we're going to get to that today. I literally have 50. How many reasons do I have? I have 33, 43, 50. I have 50 reasons why he's not innocent. And before we get to that, I will talk about the plea, the post-conviction twist of the plea, and the summary of what he tried to do, along with what other people are saying, what they're saying, why they're saying he's innocent, right? We're talking about everything from the multiple killer theory to the every Idaho conspiracy theory that's got traction on Reddit. And why no one ever will make it into a second trial, why we probably won't. We're going to go over those theories. I can't believe there's even 10 of those. That means a lot of people out there are rooting for Kohberger and saying he's innocent.
I was in my room and I was trying to go to bed and I heard Kaylee go upstairs. Like, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep now because she's going upstairs. And then all of a sudden I heard her walking up, I heard her scream and she ran upstairs because she saw someone. And I called for her name, but I jumped up and locked my door because I was so scared. And then
I actually was going to say that. I was going to say reason 56, reason 111 why. You definitely 101 reasons why. 111 reasons why you should buy my book. It has nothing to do with true crime, but still, nonetheless, I want the information to be out there, Kara and Mab and Jen's a Gypsy and Tracy and Foxy. Yes, this is why I love Foxy being here. All right, I'm gonna gift a membership. Let me put this on. I cannot stand the victim blaming in this case at all. I know what I was doing at that age, and I know we partied hard, but I wouldn't have partied hard enough to where I didn't know that this murder with bushy eyebrows came in, and I was scared AF. I don't think they were really drunk by then, but I think they just, people came and went from the house.
I remember her sobbing. And I just remember hearing this guy's voice that I didn't recognize saying, "You're going to be okay, I'm going to help you." But it wasn't like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it wasn't in like a nice way. It was like a weird way, like a weird tone.
Terrified, Dylan texted Bethany, who was in a bedroom on the bottom floor. The two stayed in Bethany's room for hours before calling a friend and her boyfriend to help investigate shortly before noon. Later, at the police station, the surviving roommates recounted disturbing events that occurred weeks before the quadruple homicide, including one moment with Kaylee and her dog, Murphy.
She said she swears she saw someone staring.
God, it's so creepy that people are saying what they're saying about, even down to the dog. I remember them talking about the dog and if the dog was in there and what would he see, and did her boyfriend do that because they broke up. Just a bunch of nonsense. And then I also heard the body cam where they were talking about, or the 911 call where they say something about a dog and they're like, call the animal shelter. I think that the dog got taken to the animal shelter and her ex Kaylee's, right? Kaylee's, or whose dog was that? I want to make sure I say it right. Hold on.
Yeah, while she was taking the dog out to eat.
Is it back?
You can see like a man silhouette that's standing down there. Maybe like a month. About a week ago, our door is broken.
Guys, we're going to go over all those things. So, Kara, I love that you're asking, did he have an accomplice? I'm going to break it down for you in layman's terms and in my terms, which are never technical. All right, never technical. If you see the crime scene photos and the blood and the splatter and just everything about the evidence, there was not, in my opinion, and in the expert's opinion, there was not two people committing murder at the same time. Now, maybe Kohberger put maybe his accomplice went in first and then tagged him and he came, but that's just simply not. And the evidence shows otherwise. The boyfriend did take the dog, but I didn't know if he took Murphy if he got the Murphy from the shelter, or was he able to get him from the house? All right, his face is terrifying. I wouldn't even want to see him in court.
But Maddie and Bethany got home, the door was wide open.
Did you ever find the back slider open or anything? Is that usually locked? What's the condition?
I mean, we're pretty good at locking it. I don't think we locked it last night.
Bryan Kohberger later pleaded guilty to 4 counts of murder and 1 count of burglary in the case. Both Bethany and Dylan made statements at his sentencing hearing. However, in a statement to the New York Times published July 27th, Kohberger said he wanted to withdraw his plea, saying in part, "I hereby declare my intention to enter a not guilty plea and welcome the state the opportunity to prove their case at trial, as well as to, again, file for the death penalty," adding that his plea was hinged on false promises and blatant disinformation. Following his statement, Kaylee Goncalves' family issued their own statement, noting Kohberger's signed confession and saying on Facebook in part, nothing in the story or in Kohberger's statement does he allude to the fact that he did not knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently admit to murdering the 4 victims of this tragedy. He appeared in court in a hearing in front of a judge with his 4 lawyers. He did this after deciding not to leave his fate and the facts of the case up to a jury to decide his guilt.
All right, guys, before we get into anything else, let me show you the evidence that we would have seen if there was trial. I'm gonna talk to you through it. I did not put any of the pictures up because that is definitely already a trigger warning. Hold on. Let me put that there. Oh, and actually, I wanted to show you some evidence before. So I'm going to show you the evidence that would have been put out to trial had he not pled guilty. And then I'm going to show you the conspiracy theories that everyone's talking about that you're never going to see in court. Well, because they're only conspiracy theories. There's no evidence to back up anything that these people are saying. All right. So let me show you something. I'm not going to read the whole thing because I'll be reading the whole damn time, but let me show you these. And you know, this was a long case. I'm covering this in one episode. All right. I'm trying to get down to the nitty gritty and give you 1,000-foot overview all at the same time. All right. So look at this. Look at the evidence here. And I know there's going to be people that don't want to see that. They're going to say it was wrong, whatever. You can't fake the documents and you can't fake what he signed for. And guys, Jen's a gypsy. There's no allegedly at this point. Bryan Kohberger is a convicted murderer and he's serving the rest of his life in prison. You don't have to say allegedly anymore. He just is. He already pled, and that's what he can't take that back. So allegedly, I don't know what. Okay, look, DNA evidence. Look at how much evidence. And I was going to go over it one by one as a topic and not everything, but let me show you let's look at the evidence that we have, and then I'm going to give you the conspiracies. All right, let's take a look at this. Go back to number 1. We've got DNA evidence. When people tell you, anybody of you guys are in chat and you're trying to dispute this, people are saying, no, you're wrong. Go and look at the evidence. There's DNA evidence first. There was a large amount of Kohberger's DNA on the K-bar knife. We know that, right? I'm not going to read the whole thing, but a probability of Kohberger 5.37 octillion to 1 when compared to his cheek swab DNA, which, by the way, was a Q-tip. All right. Both the defense DNA forensic experts wrote reports that confirmed the sheath's DNA evidence was robust, but Dr. Schuttler stated that the Idaho State Police DNA lab work was to a high standard with no protocol or methodology issues. Okay. So I'm going over the DNA, the phone evidence. There's a lot of it. All right. Quantity of Kohberger's DNA in the range of 28,000 to 100,000 cells, equivalent to, and it was at the Othram. So people are disputing there's no DNA evidence anywhere. Well, what's this? The only unidentified DNA profile in the house was from a stain on the underside of the ground floor. All right. Stair handrail, which was significantly degraded into a mixture with 2 severely degraded profiles. Okay. Number 5, before the prosecution dropped, it's a possibly incriminating the defense move to restrict furthering profiling of the trace partial male DNA. Okay, so let's shut all this down. I'm going to take a plea deal, and then I'm going to come back and say I'm innocent. Again, you guys know about the genetic genealogy in this case. They got they got that from the snap on the swab. They put that in there by checking DNA from the trash can, and it came back to 2 people, or one or two people that are related to Kohberger. All right, so say what? It says it right. It says it right there, but he's not disputing the DNA evidence. The Kohbergers are. Okay, so first we have DNA evidence. Then we move to the phone evidence. All right, Kohberger manually powered off his phone at full battery before the murders at 2:54 a.m. He turned it on for 30 minutes after the murders at 4:48 a.m. Both prosecution experts, Cellbrite, and defense phone experts confirmed the phone was manually powered off, not in a no signal area like he claims. Now, while his phone was traveled from Pullman at 2:54, just south of Moscow at 4:48, this is what they're looking at the phone evidence. And then this guy, Cy Ray, could never have testified that Kohberger was not in Moscow over the time of and nor could anyone else. This was his own expert that is now saying Kohberger he's 100% sure that Kohberger is the killer. All right. So incredibly likely, right? Kohberger visited the area on King Road 23 occasions before taking all of their lives. All of these visits were late at night from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m., July to the week of the murders. None of these visits coincided with shopping or any transactions, including Kohberger's 30 documented supermarket shopping trips in this period. All right, phone evidence, 4:48. His phone moved synchronously with his phone moved with the car. So his phone and his car, there you go, it's Kohberger again, but he wasn't there. He then returned to the area close to the scene a few hours after the murders at 9:10 a.m. So he came back even before. All right, he stayed there for 10 minutes. Video showed a car matching his 0.3 miles from the scene. Kohberger turned off his Wi-Fi, GPS, and location services on Friday before taking their lives. I'm not going to say allegedly either. Kohberger browsed a police scanner on his phone the morning of the murders. All right, we're going to assume to find out what happened. He was unpleasantly surprised, in my opinion, that law enforcement wasn't already there. He was waiting for them to show up and for him to see the chaos that he caused, but he didn't get to see that because they didn't call until almost noon. Right now, the defense phone expert Cy stated that the more he examined the evidence, the more convinced that he was of Kohberger's guilt, and that the phone data would have been a key pillar of the state's evidence. Guys, there's so many things. He's pretty much on death row for his own safety. Did he? Hey, Danielle, good to see you. Come on in. I'm going to gift a membership. I just got caught reading real quick. Okay, so car evidence, right? The suspect seen on the video circling the scene 4 times from 3:28 a.m. to 4:20 a.m. Matched make, model, and year of Kohberger's white 2011 to 2016 Hyundai Elantra. The suspect car in the video close to and approaching the scene was noted in the early videos collected. Guys, 26 videos from 3:26 a.m. onward of the suspect car circling the scene. All right. The FBI car identification, including the year range, matching Kohberger's car. 54 videos of the suspect's car on the morning of November 13th were gathered. Around half of these videos had synchronous movement of Kohberger's phone with the suspect car. Okay, defense phone data from Cy Ray notes synchronous movement of the suspect's car with Kohberger's phone. Stated, we can show that Kohberger's phone is traveling right next to the car as it's coming back. Phone and car side by side are moving together. It would have been a hard stretch to say that is not his car. And his pattern of phone activity matches the crime. A car incredibly similar to his drove around the scene that night. All right, K-bar evidence. Guys, I'm not even going to read this whole thing. K-bar evidence. He purchased the USMC K-bar knife on Amazon in March of 2022, matching the sheath at the scene where they ended up finding his touch DNA. All right, that K-bar knife was shipped to Bryan Kohberger at his home address. Right, think of this as being David. Okay, now Kohberger checked the shipment tracker for the knife package every day between the shipment of March 22nd and March 27th until it was freaking delivered. Okay, then the K-bar sheath, nor knife, nor sharpener, they were never recovered, but we saw that he bought a sharpener for the K-bar and another sheath. The medical examiner expert opinion on autopsy states that all knife wounds on all victims can be accounted for by a single knife, and that knife is consistent with the USMC K-bar. Okay, there's a lot of defensive wounds, guys. Lots of defensive wounds, knees cut, legs cut, arms cut. And you can see the damage to the women. There was more damage to, particularly to who they think. Hey, what's up? What's she doing? What are you guys doing there? Joking? You guys, I hope you're hearing my hey, love. I love members only. I'm going to be able to see you guys soon, all right? I'm going to be able to chat with y'all soon, but I just want this information out there in case any of you guys are on the fence about what's happened. All right, so look, guys, all this medical examiner, expert on the autopsies, defense, the court files, the sheath was visible on the first response. It was under her, okay? Amazon purchases, just like David. And then other scene evidence. Kohberger matched the eyewitness description. Guys, there's no coincidences in true crime. It was just some other bushy-eyed guy that she saw because she was too drunk, but yet it matched to him in the DNA match? Wow. He also purchased the balaclava from Dick's Sporting Goods before the murders, which matched the described worn by the perpetrator. All right. First arriving police measured size 13.5 shoe prints in the snow approaching and walking away from the kitchen slider, matching Kohberger's size 13. Less than 0.5% of males in U.S. match the physical description of perpetrator and shoe size of prints on kitchen patio. Police reconstruction, including walking from the car, parked behind the house, up to the third floor, and then between the third and second floor bedrooms, simulating every knife stroke took 3.5 minutes when done slowly. Kohberger had 11 minutes available between parking and speeding off. I've got 2 words for you, one name. Ted Bundy. All right? Ted Bundy. Those are the serial killers, Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer. Those are the people that we reference these cases from. All right? So that's what we're getting. Hey, Kathy. Kathy is a member. I thought you were already, but hey. All right, I'm going over that next. You guys want to talk about the stuff you think? I'm going to tell you. So first I'm giving you the evidence. All right. So blood spatter analysis noted no voids, suggesting the perpetrator was not covered in blood, together with almost no blood on the floor around the doorways in both bedrooms were murders that happened. This is noted in the scene expert report to explain lack of prints and probably limited transfer of blood in the car. Guys, he may have had the jumpsuit on and it took it off and went, and he had months to get rid of this stuff. So when people say there's no DNA, there's no evidence, guys, that's not true. Okay, so here's more. Pattern of his frequent visits, 40 visits. He started using cash before that. Okay, on the day of the murders, he started using cash withdrawals. Several people at WSU noticed injuries on his hands after everybody's life was gone. He said it was a silly indoor accident. All right. His knuckles struck asphalt. He also gave a thumbs up, guys. Remember the thumbs up that was the same as Ted Bundy did? The white knuckle thumbs up. Also, Kohberger had extensive deletions from his devices over the period of 1 month before and for a few days after the murders, up to November 16th. Kohberger also downloaded an FBI manual on fingerprint ID and databases the day after. All right, so this is his behaviors. I've gone over the other evidence, K-bar evidence, the sheath DNA, car video evidence, phone evidence, and DNA evidence. All right, and this is just his behavior, which is just kind of like this would be a witness testimony. It wouldn't be anything else. Kohberger downloaded the FBI manual immediately after reading Moscow Police Press about the suspect car being a white Elantra. Kohberger began searching for secondhand car sales near his parents' home and car detailing / cleaning. In the week after the murders, Kohberger purchased 2 car power inverters used to power domestic appliances from car electrical output in remote locations. These were not recovered. He also changed the car registration and license plates days after the murder on November 18th from PA to WA. All right, from Pennsylvania to Washington. And just before the arrest, Kohberger was seen wearing rubber gloves in the garage where his car was. A bucket of cleaning solutions was beside the car, and the prosecutor described the car interior as meticulously clean, even the crevices. All right. So, I mean, guys, ID cards that he stole. Look at that. He kept ID cards stolen from other women inside his glove box. 13 complaints about Kohberger's behavior at WSU. Criminology professor who researched S offenders in the context of investigation, complaints about his behavior unconnected to this crime. They describe him as a sexual predator. All right. She says, mark my words, I work with predators. If we gave him a PhD, that's the guy. What we will hear is harassing, stalking, essay abuse of the students, which we heard. He exclusively consumed the RAPE stuff. Okay, so they found all that. The drug, the voyeur, the force, okay. He also expressed an interest in a sexual burglary. All right. Peers and colleagues, and also he was reported in ISP police interviews with several peers and colleagues to be homophobic, sexist, and misogynistic. Kohberger also has photographs of many young female University of Idaho students on his phone. He did not submit any alibi, but when he did submit an alibi, he was stargazing. In the period before that, a man matching his description, whom the neighbor was confident was Kohberger, was seen acting suspiciously, walking in the back gardens near a path. Guys, all right, that's a lot right there. So let me, this is what I want to do real quick. Let's put this on for a minute. I want you guys to hear what the family has to say. Hold on. Is this new? No. Not that family. Hold on. Family of Idaho victims. How's everybody doing? I am going to give the membership in a bit. I'm just reading and I'm like, no. All right. No, this is the new. Okay, let me put this on real quick because I don't want to dig around while I'm doing this. Hey, Mab. I don't think he had a lookout. Let me do this then. I wanted to play a clip of the what is it? Was it the Goncalves family? I can't ever say that. Goncalves. How do you say that? Goncalves family. Oh my God, there's so many of them earlier. Guys. I love that they say they were prepared to be arrested. All right. Family of Idaho victims speak out. All right. Is this from the... Oh, okay. Hold on real quick. Let me show you something real quick. And now I'm going to do the theories, guys. I'm going to show you the theories after this. I'm going to put this on real quick because friends of the Idaho victims were first to arrive at the scene. Guys, this is one of the biggest theories debunked here is that these people had to do with it. Let me put them on so you can see the victims. They're all victims in this, in my opinion.
This morning, close friends of the victims are telling their story for the first time on GMA. Kayna Whitwer sat down with them. Good morning, Kayna.
Yeah, George, good morning to you. Hunter Johnson and Emily Elantra were two of the first people to arrive at the King Road house that November morning. These are the friends who prompted the 911 call. Their actions described by other families as heroic. But for them, it was a morning that changed everything. And they're speaking out for the first time about what they want people to remember about their friends. It's not just about how they died, but about how they lived.
You know, you see the world in pure innocence, and that all gets ripped away from you in one phone call. That's just the day that changed it all.
This morning, for the first time, the best friends of Ethan Chapin and Xana Kernodle speaking out about that November day when they discovered Ethan, Xana, Kaylee Goncalves, and Madison Mogen brutally murdered in an off-campus home.
I don't think anyone expects anything like that ever in their life to happen.
Hunter Johnson and his girlfriend Emily Elantra now telling their story in a new Prime Video docuseries, One Night in Idaho, The College Murders.
We were a big group of friends. Why would you target those four?
Emily says she and Xana were inseparable.
We were attached at the hip probably the first day that we met. Yeah, we just clicked immediately. We were same personalities, I feel like.
I love it when people talk about Ethan and Xana sort of being like male and female versions of each other.
Oh, it's very much true. They were the same person.
Hunter and Emily say the fall weekend started like any other with a big football game. The friends snapping this photo that Saturday.
It was a normal weekend for us, just hanging out with our friends.
The next morning, Emily says Dylan, one of the surviving roommates, called her concerned, asking her and Hunter to come over.
In the documentary, you tell the story of really not feeling alarmed when Dylan called you.
I joked around with her on the phone. You know, it's something you would never expect.
It's November, so I had shorts on, slides on. Like, I wasn't prepared to obviously stay.
Does anybody in chat think that these kids were part of it? I know, that's what I'm saying. I just can't. All right, I'm gonna gift the membership real quick while I'm talking with y'all. I can never understand why. I'm gonna actually give 5 memberships, so hopefully 5 people can come on in. All right, here we go. All right, let's listen to this, and then I'm going to talk about the, right after this, I'm going to give you the 10 biggest theories that you're never going to see in court because, frankly, there's just no evidence of it, and it's just BS. Multiple killer theory, planted DNA, phone spoofing, wrong car, inside help, academic experiment, law enforcement cover-up. Come on, guys. We got to be better than this.
Hey there. I was just going over to check, see what's going on. I would say as soon as you get there, you know something's wrong.
Hunter was the first person to arrive to King Road to discover what happened. Their friend Josie Louderin, who was also there, describing the moments in the docuseries.
As soon as I stepped in the house, I was like, oh, something is so not right. Like, you could feel it almost. Hunter was ahead of me and Emily and immediately was pushed out. And Hunter was like, get out, somebody call 911.
You hear Hunter on the 911 call, telling the girls there was an unconscious person, protecting them from the graphic details.
Is she breathing?
No.
How did you remain so calm in that moment?
Truly in my...
And so many people say, oh, they're calm because they planned it and they da-da-da. And I'm like, this irks me. Kathy says, come and say hi. Guys, I just gifted 5 memberships. If you're watching this episode and you got the membership, you can now come in. All right? I just have this case.
I believe God was with me that day, and he gave me the strength to get through that day.
As authorities entered the home, the friends say they were told to sit outside, waiting for hours with little information.
We watched the ambulance come and we watched them immediately leave. So I think that was a hard part for sure.
That second you realize.
I know, me too.
Right.
Their best friends inexplicably murdered. Not knowing who was responsible or why, they feel...
Guys, this case wrecked me in my mind. I didn't cover it much because there were too many people that were arguing about it and too many people covering it anyway. So, but I did follow this the whole entire time, every second of it, and it irked me. All right, it irked me, and it just made me so mad to see a case like this happen. Those 4 kids dead, just wiped out, gone, a huge mess. And then this, for people to really be like, oh yeah, he didn't do it. My Leo twin. You guys, shout out to Sharon, my Leo twin. She's back. Hope you're doing well. And happy Leo season to you. Her birthday just passed as well.
Feared for their own safety.
We just left to get away, be safe.
Yeah.
Is our
You
mindset.
didn't feel safe?
No.
In the nearly 7 weeks it took police to arrest a suspect, Emily, Hunter, and surviving roommates Dylan and Bethany became the targets of online sleuths and social media attacks.
Lots of threats, people saying I should confess to murdering them. I felt like I was less than a person in that point in my life.
On December 30th, 2022, police arrested then 28-year-old Bryan Kohberger. To Emily and Hunter, he was a complete stranger. Their murder trial set to begin in August. His attorneys say he's innocent.
His justice line.
So they kept that innocent until we were beginning to go to the jury and pick that and get a fair trial and not move it. Is that what it was? Took myself to a destination for a week. Yes, that's fun. I haven't done that in long time. I don't get to go by myself.
Conviction.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's going to ever be any justice.
I mean, yeah, we can have justice for the conviction of it, but I don't get to still hang out with Ethan. So
They still don't get to.
He's 30 years old
They
now.
don't have a
With their
son. They don't
child.
have a daughter anymore.
They say they hope people remember who their friends were beyond the headlines.
Who they are as people is so much more than the Idaho 4, and they shouldn't be known as the Idaho 4, and they shouldn't be attached to, you know,
the BS,
the name of who did that to them. And
Mm-hmm.
I just think that, you know, hopefully one day that they're just seen as who they are and not what happened to them.
Yeah, Emily went on to tell me they are so much more than their last day.
Absolutely, man. This, if I was from this area, this would have wrecked me even more. Why did he ask if anyone else was arrested? Well, think about it this way, Mr. Mab. Bryan Kohberger has a PhD in criminology, and he was also, this part I'll say alleged. He had the account of, what was the account name that looked like him? It was like a side version. He had threads going on talking about how to commit the perfect, right, and theories on it, etc. So I'm going to go over this. Why did he ask? Because he was a criminology PhD major, and he was going to throw that in there. Did you guys get anyone else? Come on. He's got a PhD. He could have done better than what he did. Stargazing. Now look, I'm going to pull that down. I believe he did that. He only talked. Yeah. Thank you. Papa Rogers, exact profile, exact everything. I was waiting for the trial because I wanted to hear about the Papa Rogers evidence to see if that was him. We never got to hear that, though. We never got to hear it because he pled guilty. All right. Either way, so here's the thing, Danielle. I hope he gets his request dismissed, but it's still putting out a narrative that bothers me and bothers some of you. It's still putting the narrative that these kids had something to do with their friends unaliving or death, whatever. All right, let me talk about this real quick. So guys, here's a solid factual rundown on the major Idaho 4 conspiracy theories that are circulated online, ones that you heard on Reddit, on X. I could go spend the next hour showing you the stuff people are saying. We're playing semantics here, and that's how the law works. All right, so look, none of them will ever make it into a second trial if Bryan Kohberger's post-conviction petition somehow leads us to a new trial. Okay, multiple killers theory. Think about all the evidence that we do have that I just talked about. More than one person entered the King Road house that night. Well, in reality, all forensic evidence, DNA, footprints, blood patterns, knife sheath, points to a single attacker. Okay? No secondary DNA, no corroborating witness, no credible alternate suspect. Courts require admissible evidence, not speculation. So he did try to bring that in as a defense, and it didn't work. It got shut down. So that when people are like, oh, it didn't happen or this, yes, drive safe, my friend. All right. I know it sounds lovely. All right. Millie, that's what we're talking about, the probability of him getting another case. All right. So I'm putting the evidence. We don't know because the judge just approved a lawyer, but the lawyer, in my opinion, is just a one-star faulty guy that is not death penalty qualified. So it makes me wonder where this is going next. Okay, so there was number one. Guys, you can't just bring in, you can't just tell the jury, hey, it's multiple killers. I had somebody that helped me. Did you arrest them? Well, show me the evidence. What evidence does the defense have? None. Planted DNA theory. Law enforcement or the FBI planted Kohberger's DNA on the knife sheath. They needed a fall guy. The reality, the DNA chain of custody is documented from the crime scene to the lab. Why it won't appear in court? Well, because the defense can challenge collection methods, but planting evidence requires a proof of tampering, and none exists. Next, wrong car theory. Guys, come on. People are like, oh, it was a silver Hyundai Elantra. They said silver. It was white. The white Hyundai Elantra seen on surveillance wasn't Kohberger's, is what they're saying. But in reality, the license plate, registration, and body damage matched his vehicle. Why won't it appear? Well, because surveillance stamps and forensic vehicle analysis confirm the match beyond a reasonable doubt. All right. Now, did we phone spoof? That's what I want to know. Did we? Yeah. Okay. Kohberger. It's like Kurt killing. Why choose Robinson as a fall guy? Right. I have no idea. Okay. Phone spoofing. If you believe that someone cloned Kohberger's phone and they spoofed the tower to frame him, in all actuality, guys, guess what? Cell tower logs and device IDs are cryptographically unique. Why it won't appear in court? Because there's no forensic evidence of cloning or data verified by multiple carriers. Number 5, the inside help theory, right? A roommate or friend helped plan the cover-up of the massacre. In the reality, surviving roommates were cleared early. No physical or digital evidence ties them to any crime. Why it won't appear in court? Well, because court excludes unsupported third-party guilt claims unless backed by admissible evidence. All right? An academic experiment. And when we talk about the academic experiment, we can definitely look at the Papa Rogers, because that was this has no link between Bryan Kohberger and Papa Rogers. And that was back July 23rd, 2025. So we never got to hear any other information about that at all. Right? That was that. And we saw Papa Rogers, putting out these questions and how would you feel if you took somebody's life, et cetera, et cetera. All right. No link between his professors and the crime. His research was theoretical. No evidence of academic involvement or pure internet speculation. Law enforcement cover-up theory. Police or prosecutors manipulated the evidence to secure a conviction. Well, in all reality, the discovery filings show standard procedures. No whistleblower or document supports this claim. Court requires verified misconduct, not online claims. Number 8, a digital deep fake for online theory. Kohberger's digital footprint was fabricated using AI or hacked data. The reality? Device forensics confirm authentic timestamps and metadata. No forensic anomalies, chain of custody intact. So you're not going to see that. An alternate suspect? Another man in the area that matched the description and owned a similar car. It wasn't Kohberger. Well, police investigated multiple leads. None matched DNA or phone data. Why it won't appear in court? Well, because alternate suspects were cleared. The court rejected the recycled theories without new evidence. Number 10, family involvement. Kohberger's family helped or influenced his plea. Reality, his family cooperated with law enforcement. No charges or evidence of involvement. Why it won't appear? Well, because the family influence isn't criminal unless proven coercive. And there's no proof. Bottom line, every one of the theories fails the admissibility test under Idaho rules of evidence. No physical proof, no corroborating witnesses, no verified documentation, and no forensic anomalies. So even if Kohberger wins a post-conviction relief, the same evidence is going to be set in trial. DNA, phone, car, surveillance, criminology background, those will dominate these conspiracy theories. All right? So there's a factual rundown of each. I'm not going to get into that right now. Let's continue. All right? It just bothers me for anybody to say otherwise. But I put it on members only so I wouldn't have people attacking me. But listen, people say, there's several interviews. You got him with his wife. They did the Nancy Grace show. They've done several shows, but this one, people are saying the father and the family wanted it anyway. He can say whatever he wants, but no family member wants to see this, guys. Let's listen.
You, I thought about Christy. I thought about Olivia today. I thought about all the families. I just want to start with your reaction. And did you know that this was coming in any way?
Little bit. We had a little bit of rumbling of some rumors, things that were in the process. We did think it would be closer towards September, but you know, we're not that surprised, to be honest.
How are you guys doing?
We're strong, and you know, this is more par for the course. We knew that this was going to happen. Some people were given false expectations that there would be no appeal because he waived that right. You can't waive your constitutional rights. And look, you know, we had a lawyer, even though they tried to gag our lawyer. He was able to give us really good information throughout the whole process. So we'd have been expecting this from the very beginning. And if you've had a prosecutor who's gone through prosecutions of capital cases, this is to be expected.
I'm thinking about you guys. You know, you finally able to turn the chapter, and you're now faced with this new.
They don't sound like they're too worried about it. It's just a technicality, but you got to remember, guys, this went on for years. For years, these parents were fighting to see the evidence, fighting to get it open, just fighting. Hey, Soul Shine for Jesus Christ. Hello, good to see you. You rolled in on a members only Monday chat. Welcome. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to hit the like button, guys. If you're watching this, you can still help us get in the algorithm.
Potential legal battle that can carry on from hearing to hearing, and potentially, even though I think it's extremely unlikely in my legal opinion, but potentially a new trial. Are you prepared to go through all of this? How are you mentally prepared to go through that?
Yeah, some people want the second bite of the apple. I'd love to have the second shot at the, you know, the accused murderer. I would love for us to be able to reline him up and hold him accountable to the full extent of what he's done. We said at the very beginning that there's a right way to a plea deal, and then there's a rushed way to a plea deal. And this was, we felt rushed, but I'll stand corrected. If this is over in 3 to 6 months, then I was wrong. If we're doing this time next year, then it would have been a lot more advantageous to Idaho to go in there and say, hey, where's the murder weapon? What was the second weapon used? He could have clarified this, and he made it sound like that was an expectation that was ridiculous. And here we are, and you know, I hope he's right. I hope we're done with this in 3 months. But I'm prepared for it to be longer.
So just to clarify, if they said, listen, he's going to be retried. We're not taking the death penalty off the table. We're going to go full steam ahead, death penalty trial. In a way, to me, it sounds like that's something that you might welcome. And also, I wonder, because you see the commentary online, despite Kohberger pleading guilty, there are those who believe he's still innocent. In a way, do you feel if this goes to an actual trial and he has an opportunity to fight the evidence, is that something that you'd say, you know what?
You know, the evidence that I just talked about right now, it took me hours to put it together, compile it. Can you imagine the work if they were to get a new trial they would have to do in this case? So many things never even came up. We never saw it. And I think that what may be where people are filling in the blanks in their head. But when I look at these parents that say, yeah, I'm good, let's do it, I'm ready. Guys, they shouldn't have to do this again.
I think it's necessary.
I would love it. We're getting to the point where capital cases 90% of the time are settled out of court. We do need case law. We do need state law. And Idaho I think it could benefit greatly from this. Unfortunately, we spent $8 million, and I feel for my community. This guy wasn't even a member of our society. He wasn't even a member of our state.
Nope.
And we've really just been totally put through the ringer having to defend this loser. So I want to protect my community, and I feel like, you know, I can't keep asking for more. We got our chance. We had a weak prosecutor, but I don't want to put our community through another few $1 million. It's unfortunate, but somebody's going to have to put their foot down and make this case law.
Do you think he had a weak attorney? I mean,
yeah, maybe they'll be able to change the law out of this. Hey, Wyatt. Yeah, I'm talking about, I'm saying when something, and it sounds like Wyatt. Kohbergers, what's up, guys? You guys, now that we're watching this, you can chat with me if you want, and I can talk back and forth to you now that we're watching this, and I'm not reading. But I do hope that you guys found this useful today, so that all in one place you can see what my thoughts are on this case, all right? I do on replay. Hey, Royal Bitch X, good to see you. Welcome. Happy members only chat Monday.
Basically saying he had ineffective assistance of counsel, that there was evidence that
I would have loved to have actually Ann on our side. She would have blown the doors off Thompson. Thompson was weak. I mean, Thompson was caving left and right. If we didn't get Jeff Nye and Ingram, we would have been toast. So yeah, I think his counsel was great. I didn't like her. I think she was always probing, always saying stuff like she would be ineffective counsel. She was always planting seeds. And I would have, a real prosecutor would have just went up to the bench and said, she says that again, rip her out of here and let's get a real.
I love their take on it. Now, Susie, that's my whole point of this. This guy, this lawyer, he is a public defender assigned to Kohberger, which is wild because we just saw the money coming out of the Kohberger case. The title of that was literally "Mommy is giving Kohberger money, putting money in his bank." Yes, you would have to have a death penalty qualified lawyer, and I think I don't know how they do with that because Ann Taylor, was she death penalty qualified, and then they didn't get to the death penalty, so he was able to use her. He's saying that, but I think he's only saying that because he feels like he wants another shot. He's bored. He's stuck in this cell. And I think he just really is having buyer's remorse.
Prosecutor, let's get a real defendant
that
actually wants to be in this room. If she's going to be ineffective, let's go get somebody who's going to be effective. Right. And he just didn't have that.
Why do you think he's doing it? If you believe, and I'll give you my legal opinion. I don't think he's got a shot, but we'll talk about it a little bit. But why do you think he's doing it right now?
Because he's an egomaniac psychopath. He literally some way made it paramount that they wouldn't say he was a psychopath, even though on his phone he repeatedly said psychopathic behavior, psychopathic paranoia. He started self-analyzing himself and thinking to himself, "Oh my gosh, I am a psychopath."
Guys, I forgot about that. He wanted that out of the trial. They filed a motion to not be able to say that. Broken Train. What's up, guys? Okay, so I gifted 5 memberships. Kathy gifted 1. Midnight Lace. Anyone else want to give some memberships or help with the goal today? All right.
But he got Ann to lay hard into that and said, "Hey, they're going to call me a psychopath." So she got Thompson to just fold, and he was like, "We won't say the word," even though it's on his phone. So I think he didn't want to realize the kind of monster he was, and he started having that self-realization when it was too late.
I can't help but think of the timing. There's a Netflix documentary that's coming out in a couple of days. One of the things I've speculated is this a way for him to regain the narrative, to get control of it? Do you feel that had an effect?
100%. And he always has been the same portfolio, the same guy that's doing the same behavior. If you go look back at
and guys, what he wrote in the document, if you haven't seen that handwritten piece of garbage document that he put out that the judge did accept and gave him a legal counsel, he granted Kohberger legal counsel, and that's why we're even talking about this. All right. He's in prison where psychopaths recognize one of their own. Well, here's the problem is he doesn't even get to be with psychopaths or anybody. He's bored by himself all day. All right. And that's one of the big factors that any of the analysts are saying, you know what we found out about this case? Kohberger's having buyer's remorse. He doesn't like the deal that he took and he wants to back out. Kathy, thank you so much. Gifting a Guilty of Crime membership. Guys, thank Kathy. And if you would go sub up to KHC Crime Lab, if y'all will drop a link, that would be awesome.
What he's done throughout his career, even in high school and college, he's always wanted to control the room. He's always wanted to dominate the people around him. And that was part of the reason why we pushed back, because we'd studied this guy. I still think he has some tricks up his sleeve. He's got 40K on his books. I've heard that he's going to use that to get some counsel of his own. He's negotiating, trying to get a book deal so he could pay for his own lawyers. I mean, this guy's creative, and he's got a master's degree and he's working on a PhD. So he's not a moron, even though he writes like an idiot. You look at his writing, you think you're reading elementary homework, but he's actually supposed to, be pretty intelligent.
Exactly.
So I think he has a plan, and Idaho's got to deal with it.
Steve, he's going to need proof. He's going to need actual evidence to establish anything that he's saying. But have you heard from the prosecutor's office? I mentioned before what the AG had said. Has there been any conversation from them? Have they reached out at all to tell you what their plan is, what the timeline's going to look like, anything like that?
No, I don't think they want to reach out to us because we asked them to get a little bit more information from him. There was a separate weapon, some other things that could have proven that this person beyond a reasonable doubt type thing. So we could have saved Idaho, maybe possibly a year worth of fees. I've always looked out for my community. I love the state in which I live in. And I expect more from people like Thompson, who's dedicated his career to this.
Right. And yeah, Jet Set, welcome in. Happy Monday. Narcissistic psychopaths think they can just get one more person to listen. They know that someone will believe them because they truly think they're smart and clever and cunning. I agree with that. And that's what he's trying to do. I literally read that earlier, and you guys have probably already seen his handwritten letter to get another trial. You guys probably have seen that by now. And it's literally focusing on two things that don't even exist. Number one, it's focusing on hair in a clump. Okay, it's literally focused. That's one of the things he says in there is that Ethan Chapin had a clump of hair that was never checked. All right, that's one thing. I already showed you a bunch of different things that combat that, but my goodness. And thank you, MP Daughtry. Good to see you. Thank you. I think they should let Olivia loose on Kohberger. Oh, I know. She said, I don't care if I get jail time or what. You rock. Look at that. Look at our girl helping us out with that goal. Thank you.
This. Before I let you go, one of the interesting arguments he makes is he was misrepresented about what prison life was going to be like, or what his what his options were going to look like, whether it was death row or life in prison. I just want your perspective on that, considering his life behind bars was a big topic in those impact statements.
Well, somebody who is going for a PhD in criminology, you would think that he would already have a pretty firm understanding of what that prison system is.
Now, listen, for those of you that say, oh, maybe he had a second person or what have you, keep this in mind. All right. Keep in mind what they're saying here and what he's alluding to. Thank you so much. Much love to you. All right. And we're not done, guys. I know members only Monday. I'm tired and it's hot, but guys, you guys keep me going. Let's go. I'm so glad that we're on members only today. My goodness. I don't know what we would have today if we weren't. Oh, yeah. Should I open it up?
And, if he still wants to know what's waiting for him, he could always write me. I can tell him what some people tell me is waiting for him. It only gets worse. And he's actually got it pretty good right now. They're protecting him to the fullest extent of the law. But eventually he has to be treated like a normal prisoner. And those days are going to be pretty scary ahead.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone.
It's cool in my house too, Mab. It's just I got home and I rushed in. I barely even had any time to set up. And so I'm like, all right. Anyways, and it's Monday. Y'all know how I feel about Mondays. I think the only good thing about Monday is the show. I really don't like Mondays, but I'm forcing myself to. MP Daughtry, thank you so much. In memory of my husband, Ron Daughtry. Oh, wait, what? Did that happen recently, MP? Anyway, either way, thank you. I'll leave that up there for a minute. Is Turtle Island tonight, guys? I'm going to let the idiots in and see what they Oh my goodness, girl. I'm going to put that up as I open it. Is Turtle Island tonight? Does anyone know? All right. Well, we'll find out. We'll figure out as we go. I do have, we're going to open this one up actually, after giving you everything that I had, the conspiracy theories, 50 something pieces of evidence. I want this. All right. We cut out the beginning of this, right? We're going to jump to Joseph Scott Morgan and we're going to go into detail with Joseph Scott Morgan, Nate Eaton, and the continuation of their family. Let's go. I'm going to open chat. Let's see what happens.
I can't even plumb the depths of this. Getting back to the to the evidence at hand, I got to tell you something. And going back to what Steve and Christy had said earlier, and
thank you.
Let the hide come with the hair is what I say. If he wants a fight, bring it on. Because going back to that clip that you showed of our friends David and Kristen at Othram.
There's Othram we're talking about again. Susie Q, I missed that. My first ever super chat. Susie Q, thank you so much for your first ever super chat. Hopefully I'm doing justice for your first super chat. Okay, let me know. Like, you guys, I'm here when we're watching this. I've done research. Well, since the beginning, but all day long. So it's all fresh up here. If you guys want to talk about stuff or you have, just put it in there. All right. Put your comments in there.
I felt all along there was going to be just a plethora of DNA evidence. And here's why. I'm going to throw a number out to you that we don't use this number a lot when we're talking about these 4 precious lives. Okay.
Exactly.
We talk about the individual injuries, per person. But Nancy, I want to give you this number, 150. 150 injuries we're talking about in total. Now, that's kind of an approximation because the violence involved in this case, you have what were referred to, or what I would refer to as communicating injuries. So you have such a concentration of injuries that you'll get this kind of cross pattern where you can't delineate it. And of course, this certainly happened with Kaylee. There's just certain things.
Guys, stop for just a second and say prayers for the Idaho 4, everybody in the Idaho 4 that's been affected, and particularly these young kids. All right. I don't care, 20, 21, 22. They had a full life ahead of them, and he destroyed them. 150 wounds. I'm looking behind the scenes at the crime scene and of the evidence that did make it out. And guys, it's just brutal. What he did was brutal. There's so many defensive wounds. It goes to show you they were awake. They did wake up and say, wait, you're going to help me? What? And then he just slashed and slashed. I didn't even open it yet, the chat, but I'm telling you, say a prayer for these children, these students. They deserve it. They don't deserve to be brought through this or for Kohberger to take over. Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. All right. Those are the students that their lives were taken brutally with 150 stab wounds or 150 wounds, period. It's a bloody mess.
That you can't interpret specifically because of the level of violence, but 150, Nancy, just let that sink in. How are you going to engage in this kind of violence and not have transfer of DNA? And you taking on DNA from an individual, I can only imagine where else they're sourcing this from. Points of contact. We go back and, my old adage is always Lacard. Every contact leaves a trace. And that principle holds true here. It's solid as the day is long. And so when you think about the violence that was exacted here, I think.
I don't know how many of you guys actually saw the violence that came out, because as soon as this ended, as soon as Bryan Kohberger pled guilty, those images literally just came flying out. You deliver every single. Thank you. I appreciate that, MP. Thank you. And yes, I'm so sorry about your loss. Not even 2 months ago. It'll be 2 months, August 7th. I miss, MP, Doctor, I can't even imagine that. I'm going to stop for a moment and say prayers to you. That's not one of those things that ever goes away either. And so we're here, right? If you need people to talk to, where we'll be during the chat. We've got our communities, etc. So we're here. All right. I'm sorry for your loss. It's unimaginable and heartbreaking in your circumstance. I don't even want to imagine that.
That there is a solid underpinning of evidence here. And again, if he feels froggy, let's jump, baby. Let's roll. Because I want to see this evidence. And going back from a prosecutorial standpoint, I want to see somebody that's actually got the guts to go forward, stand up, and accuse him and direct him to offer up an explanation for what happened. Of course, we didn't see that because there was no damn allocution. That was not required of him. He gets to live on Easy Street now, doesn't he?
Nima Rahmani, is there...
Guys, I really do think that he had this strategy. He knew what he was doing all along. Guys, the evidence, there was all the evidence that was suppressed that never came out until he pled guilty. Once we saw that come out, I don't know how you dispute that. But in my opinion, with his PhD in criminology, he thought this out. Okay, he thought it out. He planned it. Hey, Nanny Goat, she hopped in here. She said, Good to see you, my friend. We had members only live while I was reading, and now I'm here with you guys. So welcome. Happy Monday to all of you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Kara. I really do. Thank you. You put your teeth in for Joseph Scott. Mine are always in.
Any way this can happen. How dare he? After all he has put everybody through, it's all about me. I don't like jail. This wasn't what it's cracked up to be. I was lied to. I was mistreated. Every sentence starts with I. Is there a way to give him what he wants? Because I'd like to put it 3 inches right up his tailpipe.
Listen, I would love a trial too, just like everyone else. I think there's no world where he's actually innocent. He will be convicted. He will be sentenced to death. But
I think he will too. I think if the trial goes through, but let me show you something real quick before we continue. Let me show you. No, MP Daughtry, we just want you around. That's all. And if you have people to talk to, a lot of people have gone through a lot of things. So we just want you here. All right. We're pretty good. We're a good crime crew. We're like family here, and we don't victim blame or victim shame or any of that. But what I do want to say is this was long before, and I can see how the family member says they can see this coming, because back in August of 2025, August 21st of 2025, a month or so after Kohberger pled guilty, he's already making comments, or he's making complaints. Somebody said, "I'll butt F you." One of the inmates, "The only ass we'll be eating is Kohberger's," said another, according to his complaint. Kohberger is also complaining about the inmates, that they're tormenting him with verbal harassments at all times of the day. All right. He's also whining about the nutritional standards not being upheld. He was also convicted of the 4 Idaho murders and 1 burglary. Now, this footage, which appeared to show Kohberger in his cell, was allegedly leaked. The Department of Idaho Corrections say they were investigating the matter. But this, I guess we should have saw this coming when we got a complaint like that, right? And then this guy's just walking around in his cell like a freaking caged animal that he is. He's an animal, period. I'm not going to say in my opinion, because he's already been convicted. He pled to it. Hey, Tiffany. Yes, rest in peace to your husband, Rob. He's watching over. We've all got an angel now. Made it. Always love your vibes. It was heartbreaking not to send the text. Right. All right. We should have saw this coming. I know the family did. But he's just a coward. Did you hear what they said? They're going to butt F him and they're going to eat his ASS. He's scared, guys.
I don't think it's going to happen, Nancy. This is a final judgment. The law wants to keep these judgments final. We can't have every criminal defendant claiming
even when
they're
both
innocent.
parties don't want it to be final. Both
it's
parties
still final. You have to show manifest
can demand
injustice.
a trial.
I just
gave you a U.S. Supreme Court that can undo a guilty plea. All this business about a plea is unappealable. That's crap. That's not true. I can't believe they even said that to start with. Do they not have a law book?
Well, listen, there has to be a constitutional violation. So if the parties agree that there's a constitutional violation, of course, but they can't just enter into a stipulation. It's not like just putting a piece of evidence in or saying, hey, we want a do-over. There has to be a legal basis to unwind this. Absent a constitutional violation, we're not going to be able to get there. It's not enough for the prosecution and the defense to say, you know what, we've changed our mind. We want a do-over. This was a bad deal because the millions of people
you're thinking the best bet is ineffective assistance of counsel.
Ineffective counsel is that's the only way he's going to get anything. And that means he has to turn on his previous lawyers that, in my opinion, I think they did the best job they could have done for him. It's going to be interesting to see what Ann Taylor has to say. All right. Bye, Foxy. Have a good night. Thank you for being here. Hey, Rose just rolled in. Jody. All right. Yeah, I'm done reading stuff so I can manage chat a bit better.
Because actual innocence is not going to work. Not knowing and voluntary. That's not going to work.
Nope.
We're down
The
prosecutorial
conditions in
misconduct.
the
That
prison-
didn't happen. So all we're left with is ineffective.
That's all we're left with. So unless
Well, you
Ann
know
Taylor,
what? He's crazy like a fox because that's what he's claiming in this petition, that his lawyers did not give him the whole truth, that they withheld exculpatory evidence from him to get him to plead guilty. He's saying it was all a fabrication. Is that what he's saying, Nate Eaton? Is all a big fabrication? It was a lie?
That's what he's saying, Nancy. One interesting thing is the Attorney General for the state of Idaho came out and said, my office stands ready to do whatever is necessary to ensure justice is fully carried out. He didn't say there's no chance that this will advance, that if the judge denies it. It sounds like the Attorney General is ready and willing to help. So
It sounds like everybody just wants to move forward and cross the T's and dot the I's, all right? Now, under your scars, a civil remedy, this request is a civil legal action. It allows an incarcerated individual to challenge the lawfulness of their conviction or sentence outside of the standard direct appeals process. And that's what they're doing. That's what he's doing. Do you think that Bryan Kohberger is using this legal action based on his knowledge? Anybody? It was all a Twilight. Not anymore. She's not his best friend. Not anymore. I wonder what she's going to have to say. Tiff, you do the crime, you do the time. It's his fault, period. Prison was not made to cater to you by your personal needs, right? Or so most jails are worse. He shouldn't be complaining about shit. Hey, all I can say is Ted Bundy. Let's follow that suit and we'll be fine.
say a prosecutor from the Attorney General's office steps in and says, okay, we'll prosecute the case from the state level. And then Kohberger, who's going to represent him if this proceeds? Is he going to represent himself? He's writing his own legal briefs. Will he be appointed?
No, there are plenty of lawyers that would do it just for the PR. You know, I appreciate what the state AG said, Labrador.
And I think that's what that attorney is doing. And guys, Idaho, that particular area of Idaho is not this huge place with a bunch of attorneys that are just waiting to serve you. All right, there's one. I thought that that Ann Taylor was going to be the only one. I hope it is a living hell every day for him, guys.
But where the hay was the AG when this plea was going down? Okay, when everybody across the country was screaming, including the Goncalves family. Where were they then? You know what? If they're going to come late to the party, great, come on. But
let me show you some things after he pled guilty. I'll come back to this, but after he pled guilty, if you guys stopped following this because you were like, yay, he's guilty, we're done, we don't have to go to trial, we don't have to watch this anymore, let's go. All right. That's where I was. And then I started seeing leaks. Okay. Here's parents of Bryan Kohberger. Victims send bold messages to him as they open up the devastating Idaho crime scene. Right. Again, this was after he pled and he's like, I'm guilty, signed, sealed, and delivered. All right. And you could see her parent, you could see it's taking a toll on her parents. But look at these. I mean, this is the blue that's spread there. That's the luminol to find out where the blood was, how it was cleaned up. Look at this, guys. Look at the amount of chaos that Bryan Kohberger inflicted on these children. I mean, this is just one. Right. This is one. It doesn't. I shouldn't say just one. There's 4 of them. All right. Look at this. I mean, there's other pictures. I don't want to go too graphic, but this is a mess. And if there were other people involved or a second person that was killing at the same time, you would see a lot different evidence than what they have. All right. Let's continue. I just wanted you to see some of the stuff that the family had to see. And that's not okay. It would have been better for them to see it in court.
But another thing this does is it opens up a possibility the feds might step in because that plea is undone. The feds could jump in, Steve Goncalves. They could.
Yeah, we've always had speaks and talks about the feds doing that. And
yeah, we'll have to ask Tiffany Louise. Thank you for asking. I got my girl Tiff here. Tiff, do you ship to Mexico? Just curious. And if so, is it a possibility you could make Tiffany something and then just charge her for the shipping. Anyway, let me know, Tiff. You can email me, and you, Tiffany, if you can email me, that way I can get you guys synced up. All right, my email's below, guiltyofcrimebyj@gmail.com. Yes, they have so much evidence. The freaking house was bleeding. I've never seen that as well, Wyatt. I've never seen that, and I really was surprised at the footage, the videos that came out. That should have came out at court, but it didn't.
You know, now that they're pro death penalty, before they were kind of wishy-washy, and they gave a bunch of petitions so people didn't have to be on the death penalty. They got them off. So yeah, I would love to see a real prosecuting service that we could get.
Yeah, we've all often wondered why it wasn't federal, but when this happened, it was under Biden administration, and the FBI told us then they could prosecute, but they could not prosecute for death penalty. So we were like, just leave it with Bill Thompson then. Leave it with Latah County. So obviously things have changed, and they're no longer under the Biden administration, and the FBI can pursue the death penalty. So that would be great. Best of the best.
Joining us now, Dr. Bethany Marshall, renowned psychoanalyst out of the LA jurisdiction. She is the author of Deal Breakers. You can see her on Hulu, on Peacock, on Netflix. Brand new.
Blah, blah, blah. You guys should do better at Netflix, by the way. That documentary opened up a whole new group of people. A whole new group of people coming in and saying, he didn't do it. There's no way in hell that BK is going to get out of this prison. Well, you know what? I pray that he doesn't, number one. And I pray that the narrative, after seeing the freaking evidence and the crime scene photos and everything in its entirety, although we didn't get the entirety of it, and I've got to tell you, I do understand why people try to fill in the gaps with nonsense. Okay. Hey, thank you. All right, there you go. Tiffany, can you email my girl Tiff, and she'll talk with you about that. But you didn't put your email. Drop your email for her, please.
Wash. But sadly, it's worse. My clinical experience leads me to believe that you are only the only people he can victimize right now. In other words, he's a killing machine. He likely had other victims on the radar. Likely the family of the existing 4 were on the radar, meaning you were on his radar. And he has too much time, free access to a law library. He's in solitary confinement. So how does he act out his murderous impulses without a victim right in front of him, without access to future victims? What does he do? He lashes out at.
Did anybody watch his body language or any of the body language videos that came with Kohberger and his guilty plea? I'm just curious. I did. And it was wild to see. What they did was they sped it up really fast. You could actually, everyone said Kohberger didn't move, didn't do anything, but he actually did. He sped it up. The body language experts, I can't remember their name right off the top of my head. There's a lot of them. They went in fast motion, and he was bored. You could see him getting antsy and bored. There was no remorse, in my opinion. It was just strictly, when can I get this done? Yes, I'm guilty. Yes, okay, bye. Yeah, they did that. You're absolutely right. And he also had other females from the university on his phone that potentially could have been a victim as well, had he not been caught.
That's worse than a mosquito. That's somebody who, if he was not behind bars, would maybe have you in his sights.
Hi guys, Nancy Grace here. If you are a homeowner,
you have to email guiltyofprizes@gmail.com, because I don't do any of that stuff. But at the same time, Krista, if you won a Foxy box, let's say at the beginning of summer, it takes a while for the shipment to come. And then, did you ever sync up with Foxy? If you didn't get your Foxy box, you gotta sync up with her, because I don't do Foxy boxes. Please reach out to guiltyofprizes@gmail.com. Hey, Birdie. All right, this lady needs a little bit of sun, huh?
Bars. Translation, guess what? Jail ain't what it's cracked up to be, Dr. Bethany.
Well, our most strongest impulse is the survival instinct, right? So he wants to survive. He wants to be out. He's delusional. He thinks he might get out. He's a criminal law, student, PhD student. And so he thinks he's above the law and he can twist the law. But I think primarily it's all self-referential. And, Nancy, interestingly, he is throwing his defense team under the bus, which shows me how dispensable everybody is to him. His mother and father now have to come into court. They have cried in previous appearances. And when he's, been in court and in various cases, appearances, and now he's subjecting his family to torture, as well as the Goncalves family and all the other families. So they're dispensable too. His own family, would they have been on the radar as well? It's hard to know.
She's not waking up.
Now I gotta tell you this. When I first heard this, my goodness, I was like, what is wrong with it? And I wasn't trying to victim blame. This is just me in my head. By the way, there's 111 people in chat. Say a prayer that the Idaho 4 get the justice they deserve and continue to keep Bryan Kohberger locked up. And if he gets another trial, let's go for the death penalty. If he's going to make people do that, then if he's going to make everyone go through it, then let's make it tough on him, huh? So let's go for the death penalty.
Okay, one moment. I'm getting help started that way. Okay, thank you. Okay, and how old is she? She's 20. 20, you said? Yes, 20. Here's one. Okay.
Hello? Hello?
Okay, I need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've talked to 4 different people.
Okay, sorry, they just gave me the phone.
Is she breathing?
Hello?
Is she breathing?
No.
Okay.
Anybody think this was an odd 911 call that would say the roommates did something? I know the operator was horrible. I couldn't even believe it. I couldn't even believe what they alluded to in this call.
We're clear. Let me secure the outside first. So. The front door. There's a back entry. I was going to start taping it all off. Brian's taping the outside off. Okay. Where's the house is cleared off. I already got it. I got in there. Shut it down in there.
And then all of a sudden I heard her walking up. I heard her scream, and she ran downstairs because she saw someone. That's what I'm pretty sure she said. Someone's here, and she screamed and just ran.
Now listen, when you see the crime scene, you're like, whoa, how the hell did they not know? But there's multiple floors and multiple things going on at the same time. And you're right, Jinxie. They absolutely, in my opinion, they sound terrified. Not that they're lying to do a cover up. Now, guys, they've been extensively looked at, all of them. All of these people that have been inserted into the case just because. All right. Thank you, Jody. I know. The kids, man. I don't understand how you could blame these kids.
And downstairs, and I called for her name, but I jumped up and locked my door because I was so scared. And then I heard someone in the bathroom, and I heard her crying, and I heard some guy say that you're going to be okay, I'm going to help you. Damn, and I kept calling her name, but she wasn't answering. Wow. And then I opened the door for a second, and I saw this guy.
From our friends at Law and Crime. Christy?
I want you guys to remember from that call, all right? I hear terrified, but from that call, there's so many things that happen, so many speculations at that time. I know. all the blood, traumatized. Look at I mean, if you didn't see this, here's the thing is they said they passed him. They were going down the stairs and he was going out of the house. So I do believe, Jay, I sent an email. I do believe that's the case. But look at there you go. Hold on. Let me show you something real quick. I don't want to go too deep into this because you guys can probably see it for yourself, but look at that. That was the house bleeding. And I could see why they wanted to tear it down. Although, yes, they needed evidence that the jury could have walked through it. I get it. All right. I mean, literally the house is bleeding. Okay. And I mean, that's bad. That's so much blood came through that wall that it's bleeding. All right. And then this was the original press release as well. And this original press release, December 7th, it had his vehicle on. This was the first time we started seeing, wait a minute, 2011, why are they saying that? Then videos started coming out, right? I just wanted to show you a couple of the crime scene photos. And like this one, you're telling me the shoe prints belong to the roommates or their friends, but the person who allegedly murdered them. So this one's trying to say that that he didn't do it because there are no footprints, but yet there's blood coming out of the walls. There's footsteps here, and who knows by the time the 911 calls are made, who stepped where? What are they talking about? Was Bryan supposed to be just walking around with blood looking like a killer? This is the DoorDash delivery that morning. And remember, the DoorDasher came right around the time that BK came. Xana gave BK a hell of a fight. That I agree with. All right. So there's the DoorDash order. Where's the DoorDasher? Look at that. I mean, they're spraying it for blood. It looks like someone cleaned up something here and they tried to wipe it off, but you can still see all the blood underneath it, etc. All right. I mean, I cannot understand this. Slaughtered. I mean, these ones got blurred out, thankfully. Right? But look at that, guys. What is this? There's handprints on the freaking window. And then the bloody scenes. You can see here, like in this bedroom, you see a couple of splatters and who knows how or what. And then there's some on the door. I mean, he had time to clean up. All right. He had time to take off his whatever he was wearing. And what happened to balaclava? What happened to his mask, guys? This was them, I guess, reenacting. Look at so creepy. And this doesn't even have any of the blood on it, but this is where they say that Bryan started first stalking them. I don't know, but there's a whole crew out there, I assure you. All right, let's finish up I'm Innocent, and then we'll move on. Happy Monday, everybody.
We are bandying back and forth the possibilities of a trial. That is what happened. We may have a chance at justice, Christy.
He had minutes to spare.
And that's why we asked for concessions. We knew that this was going to happen. We actually foretell the whole thing, and people looked at us like we were crazy, and we're like, well, we're talking about a psychopath who literally has a search history on his phone saying psychopath, paranoia, I think people are after me, all that stuff. Phone being tapped.
You guys see the toll. If you guys have been watching this, you guys do see the toll that it's taken on her parents, right? When you look at the pictures from Christmas prior to, both of her parents look super healthy, and the decline of probably their mental health and everything else around them has significantly changed. I know. Thank you, Deb Mundy Design. A call with 911 being so obviously traumatized needs instant action. I agree. Hey, Deb, I wanted to make sure you were still in here too. Hello. Guys, I got, as soon as we're done with this, I'm going to put on this 1:35 video that shows you a shit ton of evidence. Things that you probably never saw and things that would never have came out as long as there's not a trial, right? But it was released. So these people, her parents, the family had to see all this after.
He's a psychopath. So Of course, he's going to try to do everything in his possible power to try to drag us through the mud and put us through all this. And I just needed a prosecutor who just do concessions, just a couple, man. All he needed to do was get just a couple, and this all would have went away.
I mean, we did want the trial, but when we found out it was a plea, we begged. We have emails, we have phone calls, we had meetings. We were begging for some sort of concessions. Can we at least ask this? Can we at least have them come, you know?
You got to remember, these are the parents that had the phone. They had it cloned, right? They knew what text messages she was sending and getting, etc. Smart parents, but they weren't able to use that. Buy under your scars. I'm almost done here, guys. So we've been here 2 hours and 14 minutes. It was a members only Monday chat. If you guys got here at the beginning and we were able to talk and chat and you got everything, please hit the like button. Drop a comment when we're done here. That way we can get this in the algorithm and more people can see there's clear evidence and enough to get Kohberger the death penalty. Thank you so much, Golden Hen, towards our goal. Yeah, they had Kaylee's phone cloned. They have, I mean, you could do that with your children now. And then they found the food truck, right? You could do that with your children and you can have the phone. You can see what's on their phone if you're paying for their cell phone bill. They did that. Law enforcement wouldn't allow any of that. So there's no conspiracy there. Drop that damn conspiracy. It's taking a toll on these people.
Admit to this or ask them where this is. And they were just like, no.
We went so far to tell our audience on our Facebook to call Hippler. If you are from Idaho, be respectful and call and say, hey, decline this plea deal. That's the only option we have according to our legal counsel. That's all we could do.
The judge could have said
and
no.
to that, he got so upset about it. He said, I'm going to turn each one of these people to the police.
He yelled at us in court at the plea deal. He yelled at us.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're an elected official.
And said that
these are voting matters.
We interrupted the day of court and people weren't able to get their jobs done. The receptionists weren't able to answer their phones. Their emails were full. Their voicemails were full. And it wasn't like I was privy to his email address or the phone number and that I gave out. We were just like, contact the judge, contact the court.
He's an elected official, so it is what it is.
Guys, this has to be a nightmare. Thank you, India. Some big hugs to you, my girl. Thank you for being here. This case has taken a toll on them and many people following this. And I just wanted to be out there, the facts of what happened in this case. And then you guys can decide for yourself. Thank you, Deb. I agree. All I can say is Ted Bundy. And that equates to being a devil, evil, whatever you want to call it. He's no better than Ted Bundy, in my opinion. Hey, Kat Mendez, good to see you. I'm in my channel's account. Now I got to go. Oh, man, I want all of you guys to get so many subscribers. You guys go sub up to Kathy at KCH, Mab, and whatever other. If you guys are a true crime creator in here, come on in. Let us know. We like true crime creators. We're not afraid of them. We want to collab.
And yeah, we got in the beginning, if you listen to the plea deal and he's chewing somebody out, it's us.
I'm not saying it is what it is. I'm saying take the case to trial for once. Prosecutor, do the right thing for the Kohberger victims' family. Tell me something. Joe Scott Morgan, professor of forensics, Jacksonville State University, author, star of Body Bags with Joe Scott Morgan, death investigator. Joe Scott, just tell me. We can get a conviction, right? If we take this thing to trial, right?
Yeah, let's think about the forensic evidence from the perspective of engineering. You have a framework.
All right, listen, before we even do anything, I want you guys to I'm pretty sure it's Turtle Island tonight, guys. They said Sundays, but we checked in to see if it was Sunday or Monday, and that was yesterday, and they said there was no. I mean, look, I just want to make sure we're on there. Turtle Island. I want to make sure I send you guys to the proper place after this show. Okay. So Turtle Island was supposed to be yesterday, but then I don't know if Tiff is here. If Tiff is here, she'll tell you what day it's on. I think she knows. Let's see. Okay. So today, guys, today 8/3 at 7 p.m. So you guys got 35 minutes to get over to Turtle Island. When we're done here, I'm going to send you over to Turtle Island. Guilty of Crime is on there. Victims' rights are so messed up. These parents are amazingly strong. I pray for them. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Golden Hen. All right, there's the link for it. It is tonight. I know people were debating it earlier while I was talking, but it is tonight. Okay, he's answering the question, will he get the death penalty if we go back to trial?
Work that's laid out here. Okay. And I'm not saying that it is absolutely perfect. There is nothing in our world that is perfect. However, if you look from an evidentiary standpoint, from a physical evidence standpoint, from a digital standpoint, it's all there.
I know.
It's there. That you just have to have somebody that has the intestinal fortitude to hang everything on this structure, to build it out, to push it forward. That's why I said earlier, if he wants to do this, do it. Absolutely do it. But again, it's, we can only do so much at a crime scene, in a lab, at the ME's office. All we can do is just offer up our findings. And it baffles me to this day, after all of these years, that they did not have the ability within themselves to call upon themselves to say, hey, we got a slam dunk here. We're going to move this forward. For some reason, they decided to go down this road, but it still exists, Nancy. All of this hard work still exists. All they have to do is take those first steps.
And maybe even more, Joe Scott, because you know how evidence and witnesses seem to come out of the woodwork.
There is more evidence. He's actually going to screw himself, guys. Let me show you real quick. You guys drop the link. Susie and everybody else that doesn't know about Turtle Island. Well, Turtle Island is Dolly Uncensored. Or if you guys know Dolly Vision, they have a show that's called Turtle Island. We're in the 7th season. Now, Guilty of Crime, I think we've been on there 3 times, but we haven't won yet. All right, we haven't won. And I say yet because we want to win. So Turtle Island starts in 32 minutes. There's the countdown. I'll get it notified. There's the link to it. Go after this is done. Go over there and vote for Guilty of Crime. All right. We want to win this season. I don't know why, but I just want to win. I want to win. Damn it. Is that so wrong, Mab?
Once it's all said and done, or so they think. Okay, Dr. Bethany Marshall.
Thank you.
He sees this as justice.
That's because he wants to antagonize these people. So I'm going to pull that down. I'm going to give you the 1.5-minute walkthrough of the crime scene and what was released. Okay, August 22nd, 2025. I want you to remember, Kohberger took a plea in July of 2025, and then evidence and witnesses and people came out. Guys, there was a mountain of photos taken by the investigators inside and outside of the house where Madison Mogen, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin were butchered by Kohberger with a K-bar knife. Now, besides Chapin, the rest of the victims lived in the house, but all 4 attended the University of Ohio. And one of them was Kaylee, right? Kaylee was just back there for the night. She had just got herself a Range Rover. She had just got herself a new job with the degree that she earned. And then it ends like this, right? I'll give you these and then everyone can be dismissed. Oh my good. Wait, what? Coffee and Dog Studio, welcome in. And oh wow, prayers. It never goes away. I agree. Thank you for the blessings to the family. It never goes away. And that was an accident. Your daughter's friend fell asleep. This was no accident. Kohberger sought those kids out and did what he wanted to do. All right. Yes, thank you. Hey, True Sleuth. Thank you. Yes, that's a whole thing, Krista. The death penalty is now back on the table. If he gets this over, if he gets the appeal, and it's not really an appeal, he went through a loophole. Okay. So although it's not an appeal, it's one and the same for you guys to understand what it means. He's claiming that he wants to throw his guilty plea out and go with not guilty and now have a trial. Okay. All right. So look at that right there. Yeah, he wants to get out of his cell. I agree. And when you see what he wrote, it was crazy. Yes, death penalty is absolutely on the table. There is Turtle Island link, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern. Coffee and Dog Studio, huge prayers to you. Thank you for coming in and saying that. Look at things didn't come out until after. And I think he banked on that. None of this evidence is going to get into trial. It's all sealed. I'll plead guilty, and then I'll go back and try to find a loophole because he has nothing else to do. All right? Nothing else to do. Did you guys see some of these? Let me go a bit bigger. Those handprints are so creepy. Well, he's claiming he would rather get the death penalty. But you know what? That's BS. Jodi Arias said the same damn thing. She was trying to do a reverse psychology. Jodi Arias said, give me a death penalty, and then don't give me the death penalty. Here you go. Free shipping, guys, all month long. Go type in GOC free shipping at guiltyofcrime.merch. Or you can go to guiltyofcrime.com and just click on the merch link. All right. So, some of these things I know. I think he doesn't interact with the actual DR inmates. No, he doesn't. He's not interacting with anyone. He's actually on he's all by himself. All right. Kohberger is all by himself and he's bored as shit. They've got him in protective custody because people want to kill him. Okay. Where is Kohberger now? Let me see. I talked about it earlier, but I know that he is Bryan Kohberger is currently incarcerated at the Idaho Maximum Security Institution. He's serving 4 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. He's in maximum security. He's also been in a long-term restrictive housing, okay, where inmates are restrained during movement and receive 1 hour a day of recreation, 1 hour a day of recreation outdoors, 4 life sentences, and he's trying to withdraw the guilty plea, claiming that his legal team and asserting an actual innocence in July, they forced him to do that, and they told him the wrong thing. He was scared of death row. They said it was going to be more fun in here, and it's not. So, guys, he's protected for his own security, and he's bored, period. All right? But you saw earlier what somebody said about him, and he filed a complaint because people they really want to do bad things to him, and rightfully so. All right. Also, buy merch and get votes. All right, guys, we made it. Thank you, guys, everybody that pitched in today, that helped support the channel. If you got a membership, you gifted a membership, thank you. Yeah, he is a jail diva. They want his ass, and he even reported that. Okay, so hopefully I did a little bit of justice about this case today. I haven't covered it really much at all, but I had to get my thoughts out on this case, and it doesn't feel right to victim blame. He began snitching on them ASAP. All right, guys, here's the so check out, go to Turtle Island. All right, Guilty of Crime Turtle Island shirt. You'll get votes on there. It's our shirt. Also, you can go over to our merch store and purchase the same thing with free shipping. All right, Inquisitive P, good to see you. Guys, if you guys missed this members only chat, you missed the first hour and a half, well, then you missed the episode. If you have nasty comments or you don't agree with me, that's cool. Drop it in a comment. Let me know why you think Kohberger is innocent and what should happen next. Thank you, guys. I do appreciate that so very much. I agree, Shadow Lion. All right, guys, I'm going to see you on Turtle Island here in 25 more minutes. Go over there and vote for Guilty of Crime, all right? You could call in, and it's free if you can get in there. I've seen you 2 times. I did, my friend. and I really want to get your channel up and popping. Talk to Sadie's mama, talk to my day ones. It's not as easy as many people think. All right. It does take a while to build a channel. And I'm so grateful for the channel that we've built here, guys. We're looking at what? Let me tell you real quick, and then I'll dismiss the class. All right. We are at 35,196 subscribers. We're almost at 35,200. We've got over 500 new subscribers this month alone. So go sub up. If you don't like what I present, hey, sub up anyway and come tell me in a respectful manner you don't agree. All right? Mods can email me with advice. I don't know if the mods know that, Kathy. That's the thing, is you've got to have some kind of you got to have something that helps you to understand the algorithm. We'll talk on the outside of that, all right? But I do wish you the best with growing your channel, all of you. Flojo, Mab, KCH. It does take quite a bit of time and patience, which I don't usually have patience, but it's working. It's working in my favor. All right, guys. I'll see you guys over on Turtle Island. Go now. Go hit the notifications. I know, but have you tried software that helps you to figure out what the algorithm is and the best hashtags, etc.? Yeah, we all support you, KHC and Mab. We support all of you. All right. Krista, thank you for coming here. Good night. If you guys missed anything, go back and watch it. I think it's worth a watch. Good night, guys. I'll see you on Turtle Island. Thank you. Tomorrow I'll have a haircut. Thank you, Michael. Tapping in so you know I was here. Thank you. Are you going to go to Turtle Island where the cool kids are hanging out? All right, guys. Love you. Have a good night. I'll see you soon.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty?